spectacular day in San Diego, as today the 2-6 Denver Broncos take on the 4-3 San Diego Chargers. The kickoff is next on CBS. Qualcomm Stadium here in San Diego. The Broncos, who last week lost to Minnesota 23-20, will take on the San Diego Chargers, who, after winning 4 of their first 5 and started 4-1, have now lost 2 consecutive games. Here is our stadium announcer, Bruce
and join
Binkowski.
the Chargers and the Broncos in a moment of silence to honor the memory of Walter Payton, the NFL's all-time leading rusher and a hero for the ages. Thank you.
Payton's funeral publicly was held in Chicago at Soldier Field yesterday, and the private service was held in Chicago on Friday. And throughout the NFL, such tributes are being given to truly one of the greatest player that has ever stepped on a professional football field.
You know, when you hear so many things said about him, and they're all positive and they're all true, it makes you reflect on what would be said about yourself. What are you doing right now? What are we doing right now in our profession, in our personal lives? That would be repeated, and hopefully they would be as nice as the things that are being said about Walter Payton, a true great one.
John Carney kicks off for the San Diego Chargers. We are underway, and the number 3 kickoff return man in the NFL, Chris Watson, at the 1 with the block, and he cuts outside, and there he goes. He's chased by Shaw and run out of bounds at the 48-yard line. A spectacular return of 47 yards. Terran Shaw chased him and ushers him out of bounds. Mike Shanahan in his 5th season, and a win today would be his 50th regular season victory. And he starts the most improbable of quarterbacks, Chris Miller.
First-round pick out of Atlanta in 1987. Been out of football for 3 years because of concussions. Actually retired and is coming back. Says today he brings experience, accuracy, and he's just going to play loose and have fun. We'll see how it goes.
So he begins from his own 47-yard line. Andre Cooper's in motion, and he'll go right to work on first down with the pass outside, hauled in by Rod Smith, his 27th reception of the year. He picks up 13 on first down to the 40-yard line. The Broncos on offense, Tony Jones, Schlereth, Nalen, Neal, and Matt Lepsis. In the backfield, Landis Gary with another start. Howard Griffith, the blocking back. Smith and Andre Cooper are there. And Dwayne Carswell is the tight end. The Bronco offense is 8th in the NFL coming in. No Ed McCaffrey today. He's had 2 concussions the past 2 weeks. Plus, he has a deep bone bruise on his knee.
One more in a long line of injuries for the Broncos this year.
It's Gary on first down. And finally, he slips his way down to the 32-yard line with a gain of 7 before safety Michael Dumas brings him down for the Chargers. Charger defense comes in 10th ranked in the NFL. Fontenot, Norman Hand is a great one. Perella and Ray Lee Johnson outside. Linebackers, they get Eric Hill back in the middle, flanked by Lou Bush and the tremendous Junior Seau. And the secondary, Dimry and Shaw are the cornerbacks. Michael Dumas and Greg Jackson are the safeties.
They missed Rodney Harrison in there with Harrison and Seau. They didn't know how to block him. Now they just go away from Junior Seau.
From the 32, second down, a short 3. It is again Landis Gary who takes the place of the injured Terrell Davis, brought down by Norman Hand as he runs into the teeth of the Charger defense. And it looks like he's still shy, Sam, so it'll be third down in literally inches for San Diego's defense against the Denver offense.
Now, Landis Gary reminds you a little bit, just a little bit, of Terrell Davis in his running style. He runs between the tackles. He's not one of those guys that has to be an outside runner or an inside runner. Fearless when he gets in there. Carried the ball 19 times for 79 yards last week. And the coaches say he's just one of those guys that makes very few mental mistakes.
It's third down and 1 from the 31. The handoff. Bulldozing is Howard Griffith for a first down to the 25-yard line. On 3rd and a foot, he gained 6 yards, and the Broncos are rolling early.
Slair at the Jones. Now, right here are the key blocks. The ball has been given to Orlando Gary. This time they're going to give the ball to Howard Griffith, the first back, usually the lead blocker. It looks like the defensive unit, of course, Junior Seau makes the tackle, but the defensive unit is keying off of where Orlando Gary was going instead of where Griffith went.
So Griffith, on just his 11th carry of the season, gets the first down. Guy who was on the practice squad for the Chargers in '92. On the 25, it's Orlando Gary again, and he is stuck by Eric Hill on a gain of 1. Orlando Gary, who was replacing Davis, had the 100-yard game against the Green Bay Packers, and you can see some of the late scores popping up, including Pittsburgh against San Francisco and first place Seattle against Cincinnati.
A lot of good ball games this earlier today at 1 o'clock that have finished up. A lot of games that are starting to define as we start the second half of the season. They're no longer are the games surprises. Teams have developed their personality. The injuries have started to build up on some of them, as we see here in Denver, of course.
Second down and 9, and the tackle on Orlando Gary was made by Dumas and Jimmy Spencer, who came flying through. It's a gain of 1. Orlando Gary got his first start a couple of weeks ago, and we saw him against the Oakland Raiders in early October out in the Bay Area.
Well, I said he runs between the tackles. You know, it's tough to get somebody that can get outside and still run between the tackles, can take it up inside. You get a lot of running backs sometimes that can do it, but they won't take the hole. The hole inside doesn't stay there very long. It closes quick.
After the nice 47-yard kickoff return by Watson, 7th play of the drive, 3rd down and 8. Miller with time, flings a pitch to the near side, and it is caught. They finally make the determination, and the catch is made by reserve Billy Miller. His 3rd catch as a pro, the 7th-round pick out of USC.
Charles Demery's number 27. He's the cover guy. Now, accuracy is one of the things that Chris Miller brings to this ballgame. He pulls the receiver, Billy Miller, who's more of really of a wide receiver than he is a tight end, listed as a tight end. Watch him pull the receiver, Miller, away from Charles Demery, the defender. Sometimes the pass makes the completion, not just the receiver.
Chris Miller to Billy Miller. It is truly Miller time. And outside the 11-yard line, 1st down and 10. It's Gary swiveling his way inside the 11 for perhaps a gain of 2 yards on the play. And brought down by Norman Hand and Al Fontenot on that defensive line. It'll be 2nd down.
You hear a lot about the linebackers for the San Diego Chargers. One of the better defenses in football, but the defensive linemen are the ones that make sure the offensive line can't get a hat up on Junior Seau or Eric Hill, who's back this week. He was out last week against the Kansas City Chiefs. Lou Bush and Dixon will play a lot, both of them today.
In a game San Diego lost 34-0 in Kansas City. 2nd down and 8. Gary has carried 5 times on this 8-play drive. And Miller to the end zone, looking for Smith, who got tangled up incomplete with Shaw. It'll be 3rd down.
Just a little layup at it. This kind of a pass you want thrown right in the corner. It's just going to be a step and go. Now see, the little step is to free. You want the ball thrown to the pylon in the end of the end zone. See where the ball lands, well out of bounds? It should be at the end of the end zone is where you want this one thrown. This is one that the guys go after practice, and they throw about 8 or 9 of these on Wednesday and Thursday to get used to the timing of this throw. It's just a 3-step retreat by the quarterback, throw it to a target, receiver's got to get there.
Shanahan now faced with 3rd down and 8, 10th play of the drive. From the 11-yard line of San Diego, Seau trying to blitz and backs off. Here comes Dixon. There's a fumble on the play. Out of bounds, it tumbles at about the 25-yard line. Gerald Dixon, the ex-Bengal and Brown, came right in on Chris Miller, and because of the defense of San Diego, they're going to force Denver to try for 3.
Look, this is Junior Seau right here. He's going to drop out. Dixon's coming from the other side, as you see. He's the one that chases him down. San Diego shows you so many different looks. Here's Dixon coming from the outside. They show you so many different looks. You don't know who's coming because they all look like they're in an attack mode. Their knuckles are white. They're bending over at the knees. They look like they're going to charge. And then like Junior Seau did, they'll back out in coverage half the time.
Jason Elam will try a 44-yard field goal, number 1 all-time in points scored in Bronco history. Tom Roon with the hold, and the kick is up. And the Broncos are on the board first. A 47-yard kickoff return by Chris Watson gave him good field position. Subsequent field goal by Elam. It's 3-0 Denver. It is a gorgeous day in San Diego. Temperature about 65, 67 degrees with Sam White's Kevin Harlan in the number 3 kickoff return man in the NFL. Chris Watson with a nice 47-yard return, setting up the first possession for Chris Miller. First time he has played since December of 1995 in the NFL. Here's the kickoff by Elam, a high chip shot. Bynum and Stevens were back, and this is Stevens from about the 17-yard line, and he runs up near the 30, the former star for the Wolfpack at North Carolina State, returns at 12 yards. And a timeout taken after the 44-yard field goal by Elam. 3-0 Denver in the first quarter. Kevin Harlan and Sam White in San Diego, and this is the first time the Chargers have had it today from the 28-yard line, and Jim Harbaugh is their quarterback. And a handoff quickly goes to Terrell Fletcher. Grew up in St. Louis, Missouri High School Player of the Year, then to Wisconsin where he was a star. And coached now by Mike Riley, the 4th head coach in 4 years for the San Diego Chargers.
You know, he told us yesterday, he said, we've got to rebound from the way we've played. Not losing games, but the way we've played. And he's going with Jim Harbaugh to start this one. Gary Kramer didn't hold on to that job. Harbaugh, of course, with Chicago and other teams, but he's a guy, a veteran, a guy that they brought in here to kind of mentor Ryan Leaf, who we'll talk about a little bit later, but he's a starter today.
2nd down and 5. Once again, it's Fletcher, who zigzags his way for 2. A lot of movement. Neil Smith finally douses him on the defensive line for the Denver Broncos. The Charger line has changed 5 different times in 5 weeks. 2nd consecutive week, though, with this group of Jackson, Taylor, Fortin, Jaycox from Kansas State, and Vaughn Parker. Fletcher opened up his running backs. The blocking back is McCrary. Graham and Ricks are the wide receivers, and the tight end is Freddie Jones, who leads the team in receptions. 3rd down and 3 from the 35. Great block. Bowens is knocked out. The catch is made by a leaping Jeff Graham, and he's got the first down. The ex-Steeler and Bear with the catch, and they'll move the chains for San Diego's. The defense, 12th ranked in the NFL for the Denver Broncos, with a line that includes Neil Smith, Ma'a Tanavasa, Keith Traylor, and of course Trevor Price. Linebackers for this team include Romanowski, Al Wilson, and Cadrez. And in the defensive backfield for Denver, Crockett, Carter, Braxton, and Brown. It is a first down from the 40-yard line. Reggie Davis, reserve tight end, was in motion. Handoff goes to Kenny Bynum. He led the World League year NFL in rushing this past spring and carves out 1 yard. Let's check in with Jim Nance in New York.
Kevin and Sam watched this wild finish at Detroit. This was all set up by a long completion on 4th down. Keep the drive alive for Rott to Johnny Morton, and the Lions have stunned the Rams, who go down for the 2nd straight week. And let's go back to you.
Great, thank you very much, Jim. No Herman Moore in the receiving corps for the Lions, and the Rams now, after winning their first handful of games, have lost 2 in a row. Last week at Tennessee, today in Pontiac, 2nd down and 10. For the Chargers, who trailed 3-0 to Denver here early. And off once again, going to the shifty Terrell Fletcher, and then he is gang tackled under an avalanche of defensive players, including Traylor and Trevor Price. Those are 2 very stout tackles.
So the entire defensive line there. Bill Romanowski had the containment there. Everything was pushed back into Traylor, and well, really the entire interior of that line. Romanowski is one of those, he's like Junior Seau on the other side of the ball. He is a dominating player. You got to know where he is every time. Loses his cool every now and then, but he plays 100% between the whistles.
Fletcher is out. Bynum is back in. 3rd down and 9 from the 41. This drive began back at the 28 for San Diego, and Freddie Jones, the tight end, is on the move. Harbaugh, with great time, throws a pass which is incomplete to his running back, Kenny Bynum. 5th round pick a couple of years ago out of South Carolina State. He drops it, and the Chargers have got a punt on their first possession today.
Just a straight drop back retreat. You know, the passing game as well as the running game really worse than the passing game, but the offense for these Chargers just can't seem to get on track, and it looked like that time Jim Harbaugh was just rushing things. He didn't have to throw the ball at that point, but remember, he hadn't started in 5 weeks. This is his first time in that lineup. going to take him a little while.
They started the first 3 games, then cracked some ribs. Kramer came in, and the team began 4-1. They thought, this is great. We got 2 veteran quarterbacks leading us. But since that time, it has been troublesome. Aaron Bennett will punt, high and hanging. The former Pro Bowler in '95 sends it downfield to the 14-yard line to Chris Watson, the rookie, who is swarmed under. Great play by Gerald Dixon, 46-yard punt. Dixon, a fiend on special teams for the Chargers, flying the other way and knocking down Watson, who is a rookie out of Eastern Illinois, the alma mater of one Mike Shanahan, the Denver coach, and a penalty flag was thrown on the play, and it's against the Denver Broncos.
Chris Watson has one thing going against him. It's that judgment. When does he fair catch and when does he not?
Holding on receivers, number 82, during the punt. Will penalize half the distance to the goal line. First down.
It's Billy Miller, the rookie. Timeout taken. 5:03. Bubby Brister in Cities, an oblique muscle torn completely away from the bone, but another injury this week.
How about his luck? He's warming up at practice, just stretching out a little bit, and injures his rib or his knee, so his ribs and knees both injured. He's out today.
Second down, first down from the 7-yard line, and the pass is caught by Rod Smith, who is caught for over 2,000 yards over the last 2 years. He picks up 7 right there.
This is a 3-step drop by the quarterback, timing throw inside. They're going after Charles Demery just a little bit. Now, Demery has a little bit of a knee problem, has been in and out of the lineup. They're glad to have him back, though. Jimmy Spencer had played there last week. But they're working on him, find out exactly how he's changing direction with that knee.
Demery grew up in San Diego. Second down and 3. The handoff goes to Gary with a robust run for a first down up to the 18. It's a gain of 5 before he is inhaled by Al Fontenot.
You know, you lose 2 games and you feel like you're just not playing, but at 4-3, San Diego's right in the middle of this AFC West standings, but they feel like they're not having a good year because they've lost their last 2 in a row.
Big.
Seattle and Kansas City on top.
They've lost the last 2 by a combined 65-3.
Yes, it wasn't a knuckler at the end there. Nobody was biting their nails. This game, both of them were decided.
I'm going to give you a knuckler here in just a second. From the 19, first down and 10, some breathing space with a handoff to Gary, breaking it, and then finally grabbed by Lou Bush. And he's close to a first down, a gain of 9 on the play. Former defensive lineman in college at Washington State, Bush with the Jaguars.
Watch the left guard, the left tackle now going up. This is Schlereth and Jones coming up. You see Junior Seau up the middle, number 55 right in here. He's out of the play. He's usually the guy scraping in behind, but he was involved in a run blitz. That was not a pass blitz. He had a gap to fill. They went into another gap, resulted in a big gain.
Blocking by Nalen up front, very stout to the center.
Their offensive line has played together as opposed to San Diego, who has not played together all year long.
Second down and 1, and here comes Gary, who tumbles ahead for the first down. Olandis Gary from Georgia, a 4th-round pick out of the Bulldog program down in Athens, a kid who grew up in Maryland, set a state rushing record in high school to Marshall. Then he transfers to Georgia, and really until his senior year did he begin to flourish. And on tape, his last 4 games, Shanahan saw something. That's why he drafted him early.
But they didn't expect him to play this early. They didn't expect, of course, Terrell Davis to go down and then Derek Lavelle to go down. And now it's all his. Olandis Gary having to carry the load for this team for the rest of the year.
And Gary becomes a wide receiver, 1 of 4. It's first and 10 from the shotgun is Miller. Across the middle, caught by Smith. It's a foot race, and then Dumas takes him out of bounds near midfield with 2, 3 late flags thrown across the way. It's a gain of 15 as it stands right now. Smith now is healthy after missing games early in the season with the bad groin, and it's a face mask called on the defense of San Diego.
Smith had his best day last week, caught 7 passes for over 115 yards.
Defense. Number 29, 15 yards, first down.
That's the veteran Terrence Shaw with the infraction.
San Diego goes to a zone. Now he's going to come down and slide. This is Rod Smith. Now watch him come down, see him plant, and then slide to the outside. He just turns back in. Charles Demery tries to cut him off, thinking shallow cross. Nice completion going to the outside. This ball game on both sides has been well called. They've been a nice mix of play action, run, and pass, testing everything. Both teams use a script. They go off of a pre-designed script the first 2 plays of the game.
So with the penalty in the gain, it's like a 30-yard play to the 36-yard line. First and 10, Gary again. sent spinning down the middle with a flag thrown as he lands finally at the 32-yard line and tackled by Junior Seau.
Going to be holding.
This is a holding against the Denver Broncos.
The ref throws it like that. It's always holding. Seems like coming back after the snap.
Chicago winning. I tell you what, the Bears down the stretch are going to be tough.
Holding. Offense number 78. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. First down.
I only say that about Chicago because they've got a young team, but they've played some pretty good teams, including today Green Bay up at Lambeau pretty well.
Well, I just remind you of my prediction early in the year. I said they'd go 5-3 the last half of the season. They would have to struggle a little bit. New coaching staff, new quarterback, Cade McNown trying to break in there, although they're shuffling that one around somewhat.
Bears blocked a 28-yard field goal on the final play of the game to win in Green Bay on the week that their great Walter Payton passed away. On the 46, 1st and 20 after the penalty. Good block by Jones. Miller is hit as he ran into his own blocker, Schlereth, and then not silly. And John Perella and Ray Lee Johnson tackle, and the second sack today by the San Diego Chargers.
John Perella, number 97. You'll see him coming out of the right part of the screen. Right there. He comes up. He just frees himself early, but then he closes. Defensive linemen, remember, they're weighing 290, 300 pounds. Their biggest asset is once they get free, can they close? Can they accelerate again to the quarterback? John Perella just did it. Get some of those big guys, they get free and they can't get it in low gear again.
It's amazing how fast they can move, though, isn't it, that size? It's now 2nd down and 25 from the 48. Miller moves up again, throws downfield, and the pass caught at the 26-yard line by Billy Miller. Chris Miller, has 6 pass attempts, and 5 of them have gone to Billy Miller. Terrence Shaw makes the tackle.
Now, watch Miller's going to step up into the pocket here. The protection holds up. See him step. All the quarterbacks, so here's a veteran doing it, steps up. It clears your line of sight down the field, and then he puts one up, really, that he's asking the receiver to make the play for him because the ball's in the air. It could have been a defensive player getting to it just as fast. Miller made sure. And remember, he's listed as a tight end, Billy Miller, but he's really a wide receiver at 6'3", 215.
First 6 weeks of the season, he was on the practice squad. 1st and 10, Miller to the end zone, and caught! Touchdown, Rod Smith! Spectacular play! 25-yard touchdown pass.
Wow. Now the officials are going to talk about it.
Wiping it away.
The ball hit the ground. 2nd down.
Well, they gave him the touchdown initially. The hands went up, and then he was overruled, one official was, on the side. Incomplete pass.
Now, right now, upstairs in the booth, the coaches are trying to get a look and see what happened on the field. Here's the coverage. This is going to be just a step and go. Quick throw. Terrence Shaw in coverage, and you're going to see Michael Dumas coming over from the inside right there. There's a hit. Does he hold on and have possession? You see the ball laying loose after he hits the ground.
I don't think he had control, and Dumas was the reason why. 38. He came in late.
2nd down.
Let's watch the hold. There's the coverage is pretty good. Both looking back for the ball. Dumas, you're right, is the guy that makes the play on this one. He causes that one to be uncatchable, just jarring the receiver loose from the ball at the end.
Good overrule by Dick Hantak's crew today. So 2nd down and 10. 9th play of the drive, which started back, remember, at the Broncos' 7-yard line.
There's a blitz.
On the San Diego 26, it's Gary outside in open field and doused and brought down by Charles Dimry. No gain on the play for Gary as Dimry played it well.
Dimry is a cornerback now. He's got contain out there, as well as Michael Dumas, who is in on a lot of tackles around the ball. But the San Diego Chargers have been in a run defense a lot where they're in every gap.
That's the end of the first quarter with the score 3-0 Broncos. We begin the second quarter here in San Diego. Kevin Harlan and Sam Weiss, 3rd and 10. Broncos in the 10th play of the drive. Here comes the blitz from the San Diego 26. And Dumas causes the fumble, but they blow it dead, even though Ray Lee Johnson has picked it up. Michael Dumas, who missed all of last season with an ACL, makes the knockdown, and that may have taken San Diego out of field goal range with that defensive play.
Denver has 2 blockers. They're anticipating the blitz. Now look, everybody's going to come. They've got 7 people coming, an 8th man. The man that everyone looks for, of course, is Junior Seau, but Michael Dumas, number 38, comes free. They're sure one guy's going to come free because they're bringing one more than San Diego could block.
The injured Bronco is starting left tackle Tony Jones. Pro Bowler Tony Jones having his right ankle, right leg worked on, and here's Tom Ruin to punt. Number 2 in NFL punting. The sack by Dumas of San Diego effectively knocks Denver out of field goal range as Chris Penn, with the fair catch, bobbling it at the 20-yard, 12-yard line of San Diego, a 25-yard punt. So Ruin does his job, and the defense of San Diego does theirs. It's Denver. Mike Riley's the first-year coach of the San Diego Chargers. His dad was a coach for over 40 years.
And still is.
Yep.
And yesterday we were talking to him. He said, you know, we got to change the way we have played. Not just the fact we've lost football games, but the way we played it. Last week they started out with a delay of the game before the kickoff. So did the Denver Broncos for it.
On the 12, first down and 10. Handoff goes to Kenny Bynum for a gain of 2.
Of course, they've had problems on and off the field. Fallen Leaf here. Ryan Leaf last week had one of those episodes on the field where he was asked to continue his conditioning and working out, and blew up with Bobby Beathard, the general manager, and he's suspended now for 4 weeks, which means he cannot come on campus for the next 4 weeks.
Second down and 8 from the 14-yard line. Bynum again gets the call. He is whacked as he took it up the middle and taken down by middle linebacker Al Wilson.
A gain of 5.
Bynum is coming off a career day last week with 12 carries and 55 yards against the Chiefs in Kansas City.
Another one of those guys that got some training over in NFL Europe. Boy, was the second leading rusher over there behind Lawrence Phillips. Plays a lot when they'll switch around between Terrell Fletcher and Kenny Bynum.
Here we go.
Usually Bynum's in there when he's by himself, a single back set. Fletcher's in there when he's got the lead blocker and McClary.
Fletcher has a shoulder problem in the locker room. He'll come out later on. Third down and 3. Good block thrown by McClary. Ball picked off by Romanowski. The quarterback Harbaugh tries to take him down. The ball is loose in the end zone, and it's retrieved by the Broncos, and a Romanowski touchdown for Denver. His 3rd interception of the season.
Dick Hantak came in immediately, gave him the touchdown. That ball crossed the plane with possession. Quick throw to the left by Harbaugh. He doesn't see Romanowski dropping off. Here's Romanowski dropping back into coverage. There's the release. The ball is up. I don't think Jim Harbaugh ever saw him. And turnovers by Harbaugh and Kramer have been just killing the San Diego Chargers. You see the fumble happen before, but he regains possession and across the goal line. All he's got to have is for an instant across that goal line. Romanowski just seems to make plays. He's always around the football.
2-time Pro Bowler, and the Elam extra point is up and in. And Bill Romanowski with an 18-yard interception return for a touchdown on quarterback. The Sanyo light ship is flying overhead with its eye-in-the-sky camera to bring you these beautiful shots from 1,000 feet above Qualcomm Stadium this afternoon.
And Terry Dillard, hello Terry, waving back. We had a great ride, our entire crew. There's thumbs up to you, back at you, Terry. Gave us a great ride over beautiful San Diego, out over the water, and our producer Bob Dinkus was fascinated by the fact you could see fish in the water. That's pointed out. That's where they stay most of the time anyway. So he was.
Oh, but you saw schools of dolphins.
Yes, that's what they're called. Groups of fish are called schools, and they were there in the water. But it was a great ride, about 1,000 to 1,500 feet over San Diego. And thanks Terry Dillard for that ride in the Sanyo blimp.
Well, Jim Harbaugh has not thrown a touchdown pass since the opening game of the season. Well, he just threw one. Unfortunately, he threw it to the Denver Broncos.
Well, that's been a big problem. These two veteran players should not be throwing those. They were hoping they would come in and teach the young Ryan Leaf not to throw the second. He's gone the other way.
Kenny Bynum will take it out of the end zone and spin his way with a corkscrew move up to the 22-yard line as we check in with Jim Nantz at our NFL Today studios in New York.
All right, guys, I'll tell you what, you won't believe how bad San Francisco looks right now. It's Hines Ward homing in the pass, and at 14-3, Cordell Stewart with the touchdown pass. They've recovered another fumble as well. They're inside the 10. Let's go back to San Diego.
Thank you, Jim. Both teams had a bye last week. Pittsburgh comes in, refreshed at 4-3, and San Francisco staggering at 3-4.
Now coming into this ballgame, I thought Freddie Jones, the tight end for the Chargers, would get a lot of balls coming his way. Nothing yet after one quarter.
On the 22-yard line, first down and 10 yards to go for Jim Harbaugh. Good time and a good block from Jackson, going deep, looking for the 5. Receiving play of Michael Ricks, and it goes incomplete. Ricks is a guy they try to get the ball to more often, but it just hasn't worked out after he started last year in his rookie campaign out of Stephen F. Austin.
By going after Ricks, they're going after the best defensive cover guy that the Denver Broncos have, Dale Carter. Signed a big $22.8 million contract this past year.
Played with Kansas City, a 4-time Pro Bowler. And a guy that has really played well of late after staggering early.
Yeah, he got a lot of folks talking about him early, but he is playing like a big-time player now.
Second down and 10 from the 22. Another good block by Jackson. This thrown in back of the receiver, but it's finally hauled in by Jeff Graham. His second catch today, gain of 6 right there. A full-time starter in the NFL with a handful of teams since 1992.
Ball thrown in behind him, just the accuracy coming off the little short throws like that. The key to it is that you get the ball to the receiver so that he can run after the catch. Ball's not in the air very far. Down the field, we got an injury on the field. It looks like it's number 97, Mike Lodish, for Denver.
He played in all those Super Bowls with the Buffalo Bills, and the same now with the Denver Broncos as he hobbles off. They lost Alfred Williams last week to a ruptured Achilles. And here goes another defensive lineman down.
Well, they've lost a lot of players. When Alfred Williams went down, they moved Maatanavasov to the right defensive end. Harold Hasselback moved up to the starting defensive end on the left side. But you can't. I tell you what, I talked to Mike Shanahan yesterday. Has he ever been around this many injuries with key people? You see the defensive coordinator, Greg Robinson, has the same problems. Never. And I've never seen a team with this many key injuries as Denver's gone through this year.
Third down and 4 from the 27-yard line. San Diego has passed on all the previous third down tries, and with flags thrown, that pass is bobbled and dropped by tight end Freddie Jones, covered by the linebackers Catrez and Wilson for the Denver Broncos.
Jim Harbaugh finally drew Neil Smith off, I think, working the hard count on the snap count.
Offside. Defense, number 90. 5-yard penalty. It will be a first down.
Veteran Neil Smith draws the penalty in. For all you music fans, here's an update on the CBS poll of America's picks for the ultimate rock band. Paul McCartney is still the top with his edging out just barely Sting. You can cast your vote at CBS.com or Hard Rock Cafe. Shake, rattle, and roll right here tonight on CBS. First down and 10 from the 32. Harbaugh with good time, and he fires the pass, which is caught at the 40-yard line by Michael Ricks. He stands 6'5", a former high school quarterback and college tight end, tackled there by Dale Carter.
Now remember, he went deep on Dale Carter just a moment ago. This time he accelerates, comes back to the ball, well thrown to the outside. The quarterback makes those kind of plays happen. If the ball's in the air too long and Jim Harbaugh doesn't have one of the stronger arms in the NFL, he's got to throw it on time to the right side of the receiver. Pulling to the outside, got a complete.
Lane Stevens is in as a running back. Terrell Fletcher is out with the right shoulder injury for the rest of the game. Second down and 2 from the 40. Harbaugh the handoff to the aforementioned Stevens, who is tackled by Neil Smith as he tries to spin his way for a yard. Stevens, the third all-time leading rusher in the history of North Carolina State football.
Good flow by the Denver Broncos defense that time. Watch the linebackers. Watch this second layer of group right here. When the ball starts this way, watch the flow. You see them all in unison. Everybody is almost like they're choreographed. Everyone is about equidistant from each other, so there's no cutback lane, and you can't bounce outside. Greg Robinson's the defensive coordinator. He's the guy that puts this thing together. Potential head coach in the National Football League. You know, there are a lot of them like that, but you have to mention his name among all those that are ready to move up.
Third and 1 from the 41 is a handoff, and it goes to Stevens, who busts free and surges ahead to the 49. It's a gain of 8 on 3rd and short, and San Diego has a first down.
Anytime your people are coming hard up the field as they are right here, it can overrun it. See the blitz coming from the inside. Everyone's moving up the field. Suddenly you get past that first layer, you've got running room. Exactly what happens that time. Tremaine Stevens is the guy. You got to keep your eyes open. You know, a lot of running backs get up into that line. They see all that traffic. They clench. They squeeze their eyes together, and they lose that vision. But the great running backs have.
Stevens seeing time now because Fletcher is out. They go to Kenny Bynum here. A nice change of pace back, and he picks up 2. And Kenny Bynum filling in for the injured Natron Means. Means had knee surgery, and he's going to be out at least, they think, another month.
Well, he's the key to their running game, which has been anemic to say the least. Worst in the National Football League, averaging under 70 yards. And that puts the coach, Mike Riley, you know, in a bind. There's only so much you can do. You got quarterbacks that are throwing interceptions. The running game is not getting done. You have to win on defense and special teams.
2nd down 8. This will be the first play run in Denver territory for the Chargers today. Blitz is on. The pass almost picked off and incomplete. They had Darius Johnson over there, a guy who almost became the starting safety this year. A nice play there. Looked like they were going to tight end Freddie Jones.
Freddie Jones just going to turn to the outside. And this part of the problem here is you got 2 quarterbacks, Harbaugh and Eric Kramer, splitting time in practice trying to get ready. And so the timing, things like this. This is a read. Watch when Jones turns to, he actually turns inside, but he's to the outside of his original position. He stops. He's reading the coverage. If the read by the quarterback and the read by the receiver are different, you get a wild throw like this. Takes a lot of throws in practice, and the quarterbacks are splitting time, and he'll get enough of it.
3rd down and 8. 8th play of the drive. Good block by Taylor, and Jackson in the pass is scooped up and caught by Michael Ricks. It's another first down for San Diego. They were working on the side on Braxton along with Watson.
Chris Watson now, a rookie. Watch his hips turn. You see his hips turn right there at the end, and instead of closing, he goes sideways. If as the receiver breaks, you close up the field, you've got a chance to knock one down. Good return man, though. Right now, he's earning his money on special teams.
They traded up in the draft to get Ricks. They sent a number 1 to Tampa Bay, so last year they could move up and grab the 6'5" wide receiver.
Big target. You're seeing more and more big wide receivers in this league.
Indeed you are. From the 39, first down and 10. Play action by Harbaugh, going deep, looking for the receiver. Graham, incomplete. Covered on the play by Darius Johnson. Along with Ray Crockett, who had a tough day last week against Chris Carter of the Vikings.
You know, there was a play action underneath. Normally the play action holds the linebackers. When you're throwing deep like this, you're not gaining quite as much, especially when you get man-to-man coverage like we saw there. Ray Crockett is one-on-one all the way down the field with Graham, with a little bit of help coming from the inside, although the ball is just thrown outside. Anytime a go pattern, Kevin, is a timing throw as well. The ball is thrown on rhythm to a spot the receiver has to get there. It takes a lot of practice. I can't re-emphasize enough. When you're splitting time in practice, you don't get enough throw.
Find him in the backfield. 2nd down and 10. He's got the receiver incomplete, looking for Reggie Davis. And a flag is down as they were going for the rookie free agent out of Washington.
Good call. Interference all the way.
Eric Brown, the guy taking Steve Atwater's position in the Denver secondary, was covering and may be the guilty party as we take a look at Dick Hantek on the field, a veteran of so many years in the NFL.
Interference, defense number 59. Holding, offense number 70. Those penalties are all set. Repeat the down, 2nd down.
What a blunder for San Diego.
Offsetting penalties just brings it on back. Straight drop back throw, and obviously San Diego's choosing to go deep. They've been throwing deep all afternoon. This time it's there, but as you see right at the very end of it, a linebacker, Glenn Cudrez, is trying to run down the field with a wide receiver. Reaches up, he commits the foul, but offsetting.
Mike Lotus has strained his left calf, questionable for the rest of the day. 2nd down and 10. 10-0 Broncos lead here in the 2nd quarter in San Diego. Bynum around the block of Jazz makes a gain of 2. Romanowski makes the tackle for Denver. Harbaugh traded from Baltimore during the offseason when Brian Billick took over the Ravens. He had no use for Harbaugh, but San Diego did. Here's a 3rd and 8. A good block by Thornton on the rush from Price. There goes a flag, and there goes a pass, and it's incomplete to fullback Fred McCrary at the 32-yard line. The flag is down at the 30.
This is going to be defensive holding, most likely, coming from the judge way back in the defensive backfield. You see the San Diego Chargers already clapping their hands because they overhear the officials.
It's on Denver.
Yeah, and an automatic first down coming with it as well on 3rd down and long.
Illegal
Take them
contact.
any way you can get them.
Defense, number 56, 5 yards, first down.
Al Wilson, the rookie from Tennessee.
Pushed into action. Glenn Cudrez was playing middle linebacker. John Mobley is injured. Cudrez goes outside. Al Wilson, the rookie, #1 pick from Tennessee, is now the starter. Fast, going to be a terrific player, but every now and then overruns things because he's so aggressive, or so aggressive he makes a mistake like he just did. Giving him a first down. Playing actually today with a hyperextended knee he hurt last week in Kansas City.
1st and 10 for the 32 of Denver for San Diego, shutting out right now by the Bronco defense. And here's a pass outside. It's caught by running back Kenny Bynum. He gets about a yard down to the 31 and picks up a yard on the play. Now Wilson makes the tackle. Harbaugh was a first-round pick by Mike Ditka and the Chicago Bears. We talked to him yesterday, and we talked about his remembrances of Peyton, and he has nothing but fond remembrances of sweetness. He passed away earlier this week in Chicago.
I don't think anybody has any other thoughts on and off the field of Walter Payton other than sweet thoughts, which is appropriate right there.
Harbaugh was a rookie for Peyton's last year. 2nd down and 9. Find him again. Sent down the middle and works his way to the 27-yard line on a gain of 3. Wasn't a whole lot there, but he did get 3 yards out of it, setting up 3rd down. And about 5.5 to 6 to go. And next Saturday, the Home Depot College Football on CBS offers split national excitement. Some of you will see the resurgent Fighting Irish of Notre Dame battle the Pitt Panthers, or it'll be an SEC showdown between Mississippi State and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Check local listings for the game in your area.
Nothing like college football. Alexander's still in the hunt there for the Heisman, of course.
Great games yesterday. BCS has really got to be concerned after the big win by Minnesota. Here comes Tanavasa. Good block by Jackson. The pass from Harbaugh caught by fullback Fred McCrary. And he is to the 27-yard line with little or no gain on the play on 3rd and 6. And so it looks like the San Diego Chargers will try for 3.
McCrary's coming out of the backfield. Harbaugh is flush to the right side. You see the breakdown in the protection up underneath. And there, again, is Bill Romanowski. You keep talking about Bill Romanowski, and of course, when San Diego's on defense, you talk about Junior Seau, who actually has had kind of a dry spell, only 4 solo tackles in the last 2 weeks, but still a force.
46-yard try by John Carney, San Diego's all-time points leader. And he's right down the middle here. And the Chargers get on the board for the first time with 5:51 to play here before halftime. It's 10-3. The Denver Broncos leading the San Diego Chargers here at Ballpark. With Sam White, Kevin Harlan in San Diego. Bill Romanowski's interception for a touchdown made it 10-0 Denver. And moments ago, John Carney of the San Diego Chargers knocked through a 46-yard field goal to bring the Chargers to within 7 of the Denver Broncos. Broncos losing last week by 3 in a tough game against Minnesota. As you take a look at Chris Watson deep back, a 47-yard kickoff return to begin the game for Watson. Set up the first points on the board for the Denver Broncos today. And Watson on the run from the 14-yard line. Running outside, chased by Dixon. Down the sideline he goes before he's belted out of bounds. A flag has gone down at the 38-yard line. Tackle made by Scott Turner.
I was hoping they'd hurry up and kick that ball. I was afraid for a delay of the game again, like last week.
I'll tell you what, San Diego's...
During the return, number 25, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Had it not been for that penalty, it would have been a 28-yard return. But San Diego kickoff coverage continues to struggle. Denver Haviak was a backup quarterback this Wednesday in practice for the scout team. That's how depleted the injuries that made the quarterback position.
If he had any eligibility left, we might see him today.
Chris Miller is there, 1st and 10, looping it long, down the sideline, looking for Avery, incomplete. John Avery, acquired in the trade for Marcus Nash early in the season with Jimmy Johnson's Dallas Cowboys.
Chris Miller continues to go to those wide receivers. He's 5 for 8, 72 yards. All of his passes have gone to wide receivers. Junior Seau, watch him coming right up the chute. Contact right, that's clean. One step and then he hits. Ball is thrown. This ball is actually thrown about to the right place. Junior Seau now right here. Here he comes, just knocking people out of the way. 250 pounds. He plays like he's got another 50 pounds somewhere.
8 consecutive Pro Bowls. 2nd down and 10. And Gary gets the call. Junior Seau with a great play.
It's so much fun to watch him play. Not only does he make a play like that, but if something's going the other way, he's going to chase wherever he has to go. Now here he is. Watch him just come up the middle. Just follow him. Read the play. He doesn't wait for it to get to his side of the ball. You see where he makes contact? About 2.5 yards on the offensive side of the ball. And believe me, everybody on the Denver team knows where number 55 is. They've worked on it all week long.
As does everybody in the stadium. He's one of their own. He was born in San Diego and raised in San Diego. It's 3rd down and 11 from the 27. Shotgun snap. Here comes the blitz, and he throws it down the middle, and it's incomplete. Aiming for Carswell. And he was whacked on the play by Seau, Dixon, and Darrell Lewis, number 26. Great pressure by San Diego's defense.
They moved Junior Seau around so many plays. This time, Junior Seau is going to come to the outside before the blitz starts. Now watch, he start to move. Blitz coming up the middle as well. The defensive backs are coming from the outside. That's Darrell Lewis from one side, Junior Seau from the other. You just can't find them all if you're trying to protect.
First 3 and out for the Broncos today, and here's Bruin's punt, a beauty down the middle, caught by Penn, the ex-Bear and Chief, breaks one tackle. He's whacked by Al Wilson and knocked backwards to the 26. What a drill! 52-yard punt, 6-yard return. Wilson with a tremendous one. Bill Romanowski's 18-yard interception for a touchdown has the Broncos on top 10-3 with Sam White. Kevin Harlan here in San Diego. We had a revealing conversation yesterday with Junior Seau about Ryan Leaf here in San Diego.
Well, he's talking about respect. He gained respect by feeding those families in that locker room. And he said that Jerry Springer affair that Ryan Leaf had was something they will not put up with. You gain respect by making it happen on the football field. Ryan Leaf, according to Junior Seau, never had any respect and doesn't have it now. He's got to come back and play well enough to gain it.
On the 27-yard line, 1st and 10, they pull Jackson. They run Bynum over that left side, and there's little there as the tackle made by Keith Traylor on the defensive line for the Denver Broncos. It's been an emotional year for Traylor. Back in October, his grandmother died, a woman who adopted him at the age of 4. So it has been a very stressful season for this fine player who's been with Green Bay, Denver, and Kansas City.
Solid football player, though. He's a guy that shows up, gets himself ready to play regardless of all the things. And all these players are that way. Lots of things going in their lives off that football field. They have to handle and get ready to focus on Sunday afternoon.
On the 26, 2nd down 11. Harbaugh with time, throws a dart down the middle, cut by the twisting wide receiver Chris Penn. Cut by the Chicago Bears in the final cut this past summer. Hasselbeck makes the tackle. It's a gain of 10.
Penn is going to come right where the linebacker just watch the linebacker come out. He overruns it. Penn sits down in the middle. This is a zone read. We talked about it earlier when Freddie Jones sat down and it was misread by Jim Harbaugh. But the receiver is going to run until he feels like he's either getting cut off or until he feels I am uncovered. And the way he tells the quarterback I'm going to stop, he squares his shoulders. That's the body language he uses to the QB.
3rd and a yard. And it is Stevens who covers the ball. A very pleasant surprise this year. A guy who made the team as a rookie free agent, gaining 4, carving that out of the Denver defense, and picks up the 1st down. Traylor with the tackle. Monday on CBS. It's an all-new night of comedy, beginning with the King of Queens, then Ladies' Man. Then the #1 comedy, Everybody Loves Raymond, followed by Ted Danson and Becker, and Family Law. All new episodes, all tomorrow night on CBS.
Don't call me again while those shows are on, like last week.
Every time I call, you're not around. It's a 1st down handoff. And it goes to Bynum. He's out of South Carolina State, a 5th-round pick a couple years ago. And Glenn Cadrez makes the tackle on the linebacking core after Bynum picks up a gain of 5. And you can see Pittsburgh building on their lead in San Francisco.
Cincinnati still having their problems. Seattle, of course, playing awfully well right now. Tampa Bay on top.
We'll see Tampa Bay and Kansas City next week down in Florida.
We are getting some good weather here. San Diego absolutely perfect today.
2nd down and 5. Good block by Jay Cox. Look at the great time by Harbaugh, who decides to throw it to his running back, Bynum, who drops it in the face of the defense of Bill Romanowski. 2 drops by Bynum today, and that is not good for this young kid out of South Carolina State.
No, you know, I don't think he ever saw this one coming, though. He's in the backfield here now. He's going to slip out. He's an alternate receiver. Here he is right here. He's going to come across. But he does not see the pile. The ball then comes out from the pile. I don't think he sees the ball released from the quarterback's hands. It's tough. We used to have drills in practice where you would have to turn around real quick on the voice command and find the ball in the air, because many times you don't see the ball released.
It's 3rd down and 5 from the 45 for San Diego, trailing by 7. A block by Jackson. Time for Harbaugh. Throws outside. Bynum again twisting and turning and still can't lasso the pass.
You hear the boos, and they're directed at Jim Harbaugh, and he looked almost too casual that time throwing the ball, and frankly, he looked way too casual after the release. It looked like there was no remorse, so to speak.
Harbaugh and Kramer, who's the backup today, veterans, both of them, come in as the last 2 rated quarterbacks in the AFC.
The bad news for Charger fans is they actually get worse in the second half.
Yeah.
The second half stats are worse than the first half stats.
That'll keep the viewers around.
Yes, that'll do it. Hang in and catch it.
Darren Bennett, the former Australian Rouge football player, gets it down to Watson near the 15, breaks 1 tackle on the play by Michael Mooring, and then is tackled at about the 19-yard line. The guy that made the snap, David Binn, the long snapper, makes the tackle. 38-yard punt and a 3-yard return by Watson. There's Binn. Timeout taken. Coming up in the NASDAQ, and Sam Leitch from San Diego. It's Chris Miller from the 19. Make it the 20, and he throws outside to his fullback, Howard Griffith. Griffith on the Chargers practice squad in 92 makes his 15th catch of the season. A gain of 6 right there. Tackle made by Jackson.
And we're into that 2-minute offense right now. This is where Chris Miller accuracy comes into play. Get the ball so that they can get out of bounds. That time Howard Griffith could run out of bounds. Not a lot of wide receivers. Remember, they cut Willie Green in the offseason. They traded Marcus Nash for John Avery, a swap 1-to-1 with the Miami Dolphins. Of course, Andre Cooper, their 3rd-round pick, just really hasn't panned out. The injury to Ed McCaffrey, they're going through the 2-minute offense with just 2 wide receivers. Normal set instead of 4 wide receivers.
Miller, who is 6 of 10 throwing today, moves up, fires a pass. It's caught by Rod Smith for a Denver 1st down. Up near the 47-yard line, he torched Terrence Shaw. It's a gain of 20 on the play, and they move the chains, and the clock at 1:32 has stopped with a timeout called by the defense of San Diego. Timeout taken. And it looked like Ray Johnson was jumping early, and down goes Miller as the flag is thrown. John Perella was jumping in the middle of that line as well.
Well, it's a good thing because half of the Denver team assumed the play was over. Always carry the play out. Make things happen. Let the officials rule on it later.
Offside, defense, number 99, 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down, 1st down.
That's Ray Johnson out of Arkansas.
Ray Johnson's coming off the ball. Now right here, now watch, he's going to get this a hard count by the quarterback. Watch the quarterback work the snap count. See him flinch just a little bit. The officials, of course, it's a judgment call, will give them just enough to expand those lungs and push the air out. But if they start bobbing the head and drawing the defense, they'll call it on the quarterback.
San Diego penalized 12 times last week, just the 2nd there, but both on the defense. There's a 1st and 5 from the Charger 49. Great time for Miller. Sidearm pass caught by running back Orlando Scary near the 45. And a gain of 4, about a yard shy of the 1st down. Timeouts now. Denver with 2, San Diego with 2.
And Denver actually operating as if it's the 1st quarter, middle of the field. They don't have that 2-minute offense because of the wide receiver shortage with the injury, especially to McCaffrey coming into this ballgame. They actually had a play-action pass with a inside of just outside of a minute to go in the ballgame. They're faking the run. I think San Diego is expecting the pass.
2nd down and 1 from the 46. And they sent Gary in the middle, and I don't think he got the first down. He was very close. Junior Seau was there, as was Alfonso.
You know, Chris Miller really having a hard time. He's looking to the sideline trying to get the call. Do we want the timeout or not? They take it this time.
Denver takes the timeout. 41 seconds to play in the first half. Seconds to go till halftime. Broncos lead it 10-3. The big play, an 18-yard interception for a touchdown by Romanowski. As you take a look at the injured Eric Hill, who had missed the last couple games with an injury, a knee. The last 3 weeks he had been out, and back in today as a starter and hobbling off the field again.
And Tracy Simeon is not active for this ball game. The other middle linebacker, Orlando Ruff, the rookie from Furman, is the remaining middle linebacker.
Wait.
What?
I'm looking on my map here.
Furman University, Greenville, South Carolina.
Is that with a PH or an F?
It's with the Furman Fighting Purple Paladins, and you better not make any more wise
you
remarks.
played quarterback there, didn't you?
Yes,
No.
graduated with honors. It was an honor to graduate.
It's 3rd and 1, and they send Gary down the middle, and he squeaks through for a first down for the Denver Broncos. And now from the 43-yard line, blitz is on, and the pass outside intended for Andre Cooper is incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10, coverage by Terrence Shaw.
They tried to save a timeout that time by just going right to the line, having another play called, a quick out to get the ball to the receiver and then out of bounds. But Chris Miller, who is one of the more accurate passers, coach, he hasn't played now for 3 years, remember, because of concussions. He actually retired and came back out of retirement.
And early on in camp, he was battling elbow tendonitis when he played so well in Australia against these Chargers in the preseason.
That's right. They actually played better than anybody else on that Denver team that day.
2nd down 10, 7th play of the drive. As Miller fires it outside, caught by Cooper, who is held and brought down at about the 37-yard line again by Terrence Shaw. Cooper was on the practice squad a season ago.
Boy, both these teams are struggling offensively. It's like a battle to get anything done down the field. And both teams have attempted to throw the ball deep down the field unsuccessfully. They have not used their tight ends, something we thought they would use.
Denver is out of timeouts as Miller goes to the sideline. Broncos came into today 2-6. And this ranks among the worst records of defending Super Bowl champions.
I hate to say it, but that one right there, I was on that staff with the 49ers. That was a strike year. Denver Broncos are 2-6 coming into this one. And really, both of these teams have to rely on their defense and their special teams to win. Their offense is struggling, and because of injuries, probably not going to get a lot stronger as they go. They're going to have to just go to what they have and keep the score low and win in the 4th quarter.
Broncos have lost 2 in a row against New England and Minnesota after winning 2 consecutive games. It's 3rd and 4 from the 37. Good time for Miller to the end zone. He's got a receiver. It's hauled in and dropped incomplete for Billy Miller. A 7th-round pick and a rookie out of USC drops it in the end zone. Incomplete pass, 5 seconds to play in the half.
4-man rush, no blitz this time. Billy Miller now, who's on the practice squad the first 6 weeks of this season, listed as a tight end, but really built to be a wide receiver. It's 6'3", 215 pounds.
That's a perfect pass.
Absolutely. The only thing wrong with that, the laces were down. If the laces are up, it is a superlative. On the catch, though.
Elam now trying a 55-yard field goal for the Denver Broncos. And the kick is up, and the kick is good. And that takes us to halftime. Elam has kicked field goals of 44 and 55 yards. And the big play for Coach Mike Shanahan, an 18-yard interception for a touchdown by Bill Romanowski.
And the hold by Ruin makes that one happen with a big kick by Jason Elam.
And Tanabasa throws a pass incomplete, and it was intended for wide receiver Kenny Bynum, listed out on the far side in motion, and the coverage by linebacker Bill Romanowski. San Diego's got a punt.
He can blitz, he can tackle in the open field, and he covers. Bill Romanowski, number 53. See him going up the field, finds the ball, comes back almost as if he wants to intercept it. Gave him a little chuck. Now remember, he can only do that inside 5 yards. Got away with it that time. Wasn't a major push.
Aussie Darren Bennett will punt. Deep back is Chris Watson. Inside the 30-yard line, retrieves it. He gets by Hamilton, and he is finally brought down at the 38-yard line by Orlando Ruff, the rookie free agent from Furman. Small school with not much history to it in South Carolina.
Where do you think the Ivy Leagues came from? They got the idea from Furman.
Hey, let me tell you something.
Illegal man downfield. Prior to the kick, number 53. Penalty is declined. First down.
Michael Hamilton picked it up. Timeout taken. 13-13 remaining in the third quarter. With Sam White, Kevin Harlan, we had a great talk yesterday with Denver coach Mike Shanahan.
You know, when you're not winning, everyone's got all the other answers. He hadn't forgotten everything that got him to the Super Bowl the last 2 years. Still one of the finest coaches in the league.
On the 38, handoff goes to Orlando Gary, and he struggles for a gain of 2. Second down and 8. Jackson with the tackle.
It's amazing, though, when coaches are successful, everything they do is insightful, everything's progressive, everything's one step ahead of, and then when a few people get hurt or retire, like a John Elway, Terrell Davis, Shannon Sharp, and Steve Atwater leaves for free agency and all those kind of things. A record like this, second only to Mike Holmgren, among the winningest active coaches in the league, suddenly he seems to have forgotten everything, and all of the sports talk show guys and print media have all the answers. But I think everybody around the league in the league knows that Shanahan has a lot of the answers. Just got to get the people back.
Second and 8 flags are thrown to go to Gary. You know, the columnists in Denver have been especially tough on Shanahan, and I got to tell you, in our travels around the NFL, and we get a different view because we are in a different stadium,
right,
with different teams every Sunday. I find him extremely honest, very forthright, and a classy guy.
Defense. 3 players moved into the neutral zone prior to the snap. 5 yards. Repeat the down. Second down.
You know, a lot of that started with the decision not to go with Bubby Brister after the preseason. Believe me, coaches want to make that decision, your starting quarterback, as early as possible. But if you find out that it's not working out and you have to make a late decision, you make the late decision. It's not the way you would prefer to do it. You prefer to make that early. But, you know, when you do make a late decision, you open yourself up to second guessing, and carries on until you start winning a lot of football games.
Huge hole opened up for Gary on second down and 3. And he jets down for a gain of 11 before Dumas and Jackson bring him down at the San Diego 44.
Just give me the first 3 yards. That's what the offensive line is asked to do. Watch how clean the running back comes through this. There is nobody touching him until the secondary gets all the way into the secondary. Orlando Gary, I've said it earlier in this broadcast, is a tackle-to-tackle runner. He is not one of those guys that has to be in the wide open field. He can run in there even though he's 5'11", 218. Not a big guy for running backs in today's football. He can play inside.
14 carries and 45 yards. Here's his 15th carry, and he goes down the middle before he is stuck by Jackson. 42, Greg Jackson, who began with the New York Giants. A gain of 5 for Gary. Gets jumped around, Jackson has, and today he's starting for the injured Rodney Harrison.
Once again, the first guy to hit him is a defensive back, so that means that he's getting through there. Running backs that can make the decision, they see an opening in the blocking scheme, can make the decision and then accelerate through it, are the most successful inside runners. There's so many runners that get there and they want to make a little bit of sidestep, try to see if it's going to get even more wide open. Those are the ones that don't make the big yards inside.
Second down and 5 from the 40. The blitz was on. It came up the middle from Seau, and the pass is short for fullback Howard Griffith.
Chris Miller looked like he got his hand on the helmet on that rush, too.
Well, we're at the midway point of the NFL season.
Watch right here, Kevin. He's going to release the ball. Look at the follow through right there. It's not on the helmet. It's on the reach. That was Junior Seau, again, right in the face of Chris Miller.
Kind of the thing that Brett Favre has struggled with up in Green Bay. In fact, Favre in a preseason game in Madison did that same exact thing against these Broncos.
Well, it happens to all quarterbacks. It's part of the follow-through of the throw, and if you're in traffic, you get hit like that.
Third down and 5 from the San Diego 40. Moving up is Miller. Brought down and tackled. Sacked on the play. Al Fontenot, 95. The ex-Chicago Bear and Indianapolis Colt. And Ray Lee Johnson. They account for the 4th sack on the Denver quarterback Miller today.
Has no chance this time. He's got no chance for anything to develop. Look at the reach by Al Fontenot. Well out of position coming from this side. Now here he comes, number 95. Watch him reach back one arm, almost takes the ball out of the hand of Chris Miller. Good solid defense. Of course, one of the best defenses in football we're looking at right here.
Tom Ruin coming off his best season and having a great season again this year at 48 yards a punt. As this one ricocheted into the end zone and out of play. 42-yard punt by Tom Ruin. 10:05 to play in the third quarter. Broncos and a couple long field goals and an interception by Romanowski lead it by 10. Live pictures of today's game brought to you by the Sanyo Lightship, one of the largest airships in the world, holding over 150,000 cubic feet of helium. Find him in the backfield. It's 1st and 10 for San Diego from the 20. Harbaugh flushed out of the pocket, gets away from Traylor. A flag is thrown. The pass goes awry. They were aiming for Freddie Jones. Incomplete pass, and again the flag at the 35.
Going to be holding down the field. Even though the quarterback's flushed out of the pocket, the holding took place while he was in that pocket. Actually, can't hold anywhere, but you can chuck down the field if the quarterback's out of the pocket. Can't hold.
Holding. Defense, number 40. 5 yards, first down.
That's Dale Carter.
Sometimes that's the reason you get flushed out of the pocket is there's nobody open because they're being held down the field. San Diego offense, though, today continues. No touchdowns in the last 12 quarters. That's 36 possessions of the ball. They have not got a 6-pointer.
Statistician Pat McGrath ever vigilant on that. Long trek by the San Diego Chargers. And it's a handoff. And Bynum maybe for 2 yards on the play. Well, we're at the midway point of the NFL season. It's time to separate the contenders from the pretenders. Get a complete review of every team as they position themselves for the playoffs. Just click on to NFL at cbs.sportsline.com.
I know I'm still using, I don't know, do you use your computer as much as you claim you do, or is this just you just pretend?
Busy with the
You
kids.
are a pretender.
2nd down and a short 8 from the 27. Harbaugh flings a pass, which is bobbled, dropped. Is it loose? It may be a fumble, and the Broncos say they've got it, and indeed they do. Al Wilson jumps on the loose ball. It is the 2nd San Diego turnover today. Chris Penn caught it just long enough to claim possession, then fumbled it away. Broncos get it, and now they're in great position at the San Diego 31. Chargers have just turned the ball over to the Denver Broncos at their 31-yard line. Denver has not started that many times in opposing territory this season. In fact, dead last in that category.
The Chargers on the field without Eric Hill. He left the game earlier with a left foot sprain. He will not be back in the ballgame today.
Chris Miller with Sayal bearing down on him. Throws a pass, which is caught by Carswell, the tight end, his 10th catch of the year, taking the place of the injured Shannon Sharp. That's a first catch by a Denver tight end this year. You know, Sam, they're mobile enough to get into the secondary, these Denver tight ends, yet physical enough to block at the line of scrimmage.
They should be used. This is with the wide receiver situation the way it is, especially with Byron Chamberlain in there, a receiving tight end. First one today.
2nd down and 2 from the San Diego 23. It's Gary. Huge hole. Great block by Carswell. It's a touchdown for Denver. What a play.
San Diego has been run, blitz, defending, and when you do that, there's the hole's going to come right in through here. But watch the linebackers disappear. See the linebackers going the other way? And there's the hole. One last reach, and down the field blocked by the wide receivers doing their job as well. But when you give a guy that much room up the middle, And what's happening is the gaps, if you open one gap when you're run blitzing, it means that somebody's in every gap. Somebody doesn't get to his gap, there's going to be a big hole.
Elam with the extra point is up and in. And how big is the turnover by wide receiver Chris Penn as Miller leads him in on the 23-yard touchdown run. Set up on San Diego with their second turnover of the day. Denver capitalizes on it. And after the 23-yard touchdown run by Gary, here's the ensuing kickoff and picked up inside the 15 by Tremaine Stevens. He breaks one tackle by Nate Wayne, but Wayne got back and got him, and flags are on the field at about the 23-yard line.
Now is when San Diego's got to be careful that they don't start getting sloppy now trying to get back into this ball game, or get frustrated trying to get back into the ball game.
They were knocked out of first place last week with their loss in Kansas City, but don't remain that far away, coming in at 4 up and 3 down. Kansas City losing today.
During return, number 56.
54.
Will be first down.
Well,
yeah, whatever. Okay.
Orlando Ruff picks it up, and down is Darius Johnson, but getting back up on his feet. Here's the touchdown run again, the second of his young Bronco career by Gary.
Now watch, right? See the linebackers, though, coming in. Everybody else is going. Now look down the field at the tight end making the block. That's Dwayne Carswell makes the key touchdown block, last-minute dive. Gary gets into the end zone. This team started out, San Diego started out 4-1, and Mike Riley told us that there was one play on the +5 yard line against Green Bay where an interception kind of changed their confidence, and they have been sliding ever since. But still, they're still in it. 4-3. They've lost their last 2, so they feel like they're on a way going downhill. They're not. They're still in this thing.
Harbaugh looked like he was running downhill right there, chased by Price out of the pocket as Seattle is climbing all over Cincinnati, and the Buccaneers look to go to 4-4 as they're whipping the New Orleans Saints down in Louisiana.
Tampa Bay's another one of those teams with a strong defense, keeps them in the ball game. Offense is struggling a little bit.
12-yard scrambling run right there by Harbaugh is the longest his coach Mike Riley has seen his offense produce today, as Harold Hasselback is down. He played high school football up in British Columbia, began his pro career in the CFL, and jumped around just a bit, and now he's a Denver Bronco, and a guy that will see obviously more time with the injury to Alfred Williams. Started the season at left end, Hasselback then went to right end, and he had a couple starts already earlier in the season.
And on the other side of the ball, San Diego, kind of following up on what we talked about, you know, after 4 games into this season, they were leading the league in giveaway and takeaway. Then all of a sudden the interceptions started to happen. The 2 quarterbacks, veteran quarterbacks, Harbaugh and Kramer, have actually coming into this ball game. 14 interceptions in the last 3 weeks, and of course more turnovers today.
Stevens in the backfield. 1st and 10 for Harbaugh, running away again from Price, the former linebacker at Michigan. And the pass is bobbled and then dropped as Harbaugh was scrambling for his life. And toward the end, Ma'a Tanavasa was bearing down on 35-year-old Jim Harbaugh. Graham was the intended receiver for Jim. Well, next Sunday, the NFL puts on regional matchups. Some of you will see Peyton Manning and the Colts against the Giants, or Jimmy Johnson sparked the Dolphins against the Buffalo Bills in an AFC East showdown. Some will also see the Chiefs against Warren Sapp and the Buccaneers. The Chargers take on the Oakland Raiders. Check your local listings for the action in your area. 2nd down and 10 from the 25. Harbaugh flings a pass, and it's hauled in by Michael Ricks. And he caught it close to a 1st down, a gain of about 10 on the play.
And this time, this is a timing throw to the outside. You saw Jim Harbaugh look quickly to the left, and then everything is his attention to the right side, and the ball thrown crisply, and is thrown the correct way there. It just wouldn't come out right.
That's all right.
Dale Carter,
really try. It's the best thing.
That's not like a good try. Dale Carter actually had good position on that one, playing inside out. They've been throwing the ball inside. Harbaugh's arm is not one of the strong arms. That outside throw takes a rifle. See defenders then play the inside, expecting the ball to be thrown more.
35, 1st and 10. Across the middle it goes. And fullback Fred McCrary, who didn't play last year, hauls it in, tackled by Trevor Price.
You know, as we watch this offense, San Diego's offense, they're trying to pick away at little things. Go down the field early. If you remember in the first half, they threw the ball deep quite a bit, but they were timed throws, so they didn't have to hold it very long. And then do something on the ground. The key to this kind of a ball game, if you're struggling like San Diego is, stay in the ball game. But the turnovers have given Denver the lead they've got right now. The first one, of course, being Romanowski's first half interception.
2nd down and 9 from the 36. The rush comes on. Harbaugh throws it outside. A seductive fake by Bynum. Gets him by Catrez. And then he is finally brought down by Monte Rieger. A gain of 5.
Still again, though, Jim Harbaugh flushed out of the pocket. Now he's going to go back, and then he's going to move this way. When you move left, the receivers are taught to try to move to the left. Watch inside right. You see this receiver right here? That's the tight end, Freddie Jones. Now he throws the ball off to Kenny Bynum this time, but everyone moves in the direction of the quarterback when they're scrambling. What you hope doesn't happen is that your quarterback isn't in a scrambling mode quite as often as Jim Harbaugh has.
Harbaugh's got that periscope up today. 3rd down, a short 4. They block out Romanowski. They throw outside to McQuarrie. He's got the first down, chased out of bounds by Neil Smith. Dale Carter was hot on his heels as well. A gain of 7 and some momentum now building up for San Diego.
Exactly what they need. They just need momentum translating into enthusiasm. There's almost a kind of a walk-around attitude out there in that offensive huddle as you watch the plays end. Everyone kind of saunters back to the huddle. A little bit of energy back into that offense. Of course, the way to do it is make a couple plays down the field. They could be back in it. 20-3, you're not out of a football game in the National Football League, not this day.
7th play of the drive, 1st and 10. Bynum squirting free and then belted by Wilson, the linebacker, and a gain of 3 yards.
Denver is playing very safe, solid defense. They're not bringing the house. They're letting those linebackers scrape, make those tackles down there, giving them 3 and 4 yards on those runs.
There's the defensive coordinator, Greg Robinson, one of the best in the NFL, and a guy who has still had this defense stay above water, number 12, coming into today.
Part of the reason they went to a Super Bowl a couple of times is that their defense kept them in the thick of it. You know, your offense wins by scoring points, but believe me, there is not a Super Bowl champion that doesn't have a solid defense.
2nd down and 7, and Harbaugh threads a pass to the angular Michael Ricks near a 1st down at the Denver 42.
Now he's angular. He was seductive before. Now he's angular.
No, Bynum was seductive. This guy is angular.
I can't keep track of your adjectives. Well, I don't know what it is. Token fake to the right side. This ball's coming back to the left. You can see Jim Harbaugh looking back all the way. The reason he fakes to the right, about his first 2 steps in his drop, he's got his head looking away from where he's going, back to the left, is to pull those linebackers out of the way, giving him a line or a corridor to throw in, which he had. They're good. They've got something going now. They've done something they haven't done all day long, and that is run the ball, get the ball out quick on some quick throws, and then some good play action.
Ray Crockett, who is playing with a bruised hip, suffered last week in the Viking game, is slow to get up. He had a dreadful day against Chris Carter, who caught 8 passes on him last week. Denver leads at 20-3, a couple long field goals by Elam, and an 18-yard interception for a touchdown back in the first half by Bill Romanowski. San Diego driving. It began at their own 13. 9th play of the drive. 1st and 10 from the 42. Harbaugh gets away from one defender. Down the middle, he's got a receiver. Wide open, the tight end, Freddie Jones, weaving his way to the 7th. A 35-yard gain.
Freddie Jones, the tight end. They're finally working it back to the middle. Nice little slide. Quarterback buying a little bit of time right there. Tackle missed by Braxton. And then it's going to be Dale Carter making the big hit down about the 6-7 yard line. And San Diego suddenly has come to life here. And so the fans a little bit, who were a little bit lethargic as they watched the defensive battle up to this point.
Harbaugh's hot. He's completed 6 in a row from the 7 of the Broncos. Play action by Harbaugh. Fires a pass to the end zone. Touchdown, Freddie Jones. Harbaugh's first touchdown pass since the season opening game.
And it goes to 6'5", 270-pound Freddie Jones, a receiving, blocking tight end. The combination's hard to find. But they should have really been going both sides of the ball, going to that tight end even earlier than this.
First touchdown in over 12 quarters by the San Diego Chargers.
And here's Jones right here. Watch him come up the field. Token fake. Good sharp throw. A lot of authority on it. To the corner. And Jim Harbaugh is glad to see things happen as well as Freddie Jones, as are those that bought tickets in the front row. Right there in the corner of the end zone. San Diego just needed to get back in the ballgame to get their energy going. They have just been almost just playing backpedal right here on the offensive side of the ball. Now they've proven to themselves they can move it against the Denver Broncos.
Harbaugh had gone 131 passing attempts without a touchdown pass, but he hits Freddie Jones right there. Jones's first touchdown catch this year, and he's led him in receiving not only this year, but last year as well.
Big target. I tell you, those kind of guys working the inside, even though you're working against linebackers who are big players as well, they got quick movement, the ball's in the air, very short time, quick throws, and then they can make the run afterwards. They're hard to bring down. Just a little conversation upstairs. This is basically, that's what I told you we would do when we were working on Wednesday on the same play.
Yes.
It will work.
And it did work. John Carney will kick off, and deep back is Chris Watson for the Denver Broncos. He had a great opening game 47-yard kickoff return. And there's not a lot of breeze here, but sometimes these kickers put that ball at such an odd angle, and they defy the laws of physics by even keeping it upright. As you see, Jim Harbaugh, after his touchdown pass in 73, there is Aaron Taylor, his big left guard.
Well, that's what you want to see on the sideline. You want to see guys getting a little bit fired. It's an emotional game. Get fired up, excited about the ball game, have some fun. You worked hard all week to get prepared. Now you should go out and show your stuff.
The Chargers have a very porous kickoff coverage unit. Here comes Watson. Got a block, hurdles the defender, and is out to the 34 before Fred McCrary and Reggie Russ bring him down. A return of 22 yards. Tonight on CBS, there's a whole lot of shit.
I'm also shaving a few years even telling you that.
On the 34, first and 10. Gary is swapped up. Junior Seau got him.
Here's where Junior Seau, being on your football team, turns the game around now. Once your offense got you in the end zone, this is the guy that takes over the ball game. Not only is he going to make plays, but he's going to have everybody around him playing to a higher level. Look at his intensity there. He's talking to the sideline right now. He comes flying up the field before anybody can get to him. 46 tackles, 3 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles this year. He's had double figures, meaning 10 tackles or more 3 times already this season.
Second down 11 for Chris Miller at the 33. They bring the blitz again. Outside he throws, where it's caught by Gary, who spins with the deceptive move near the 40-yard line. And the clock continues to roll. The tackle made by cornerback Terrence Shaw on Olandis Gary.
Actually, it was Junior Seau that missed a tackle right there. Usually that's the one he cleans up the open field and the crowd goes crazy. But the backup was there. When I said that the people around him are elevated as well, he missed a tackle, but there was somebody else coming. The pursuit was there. Big play right here. Now, the defense can take Denver 3 and out, get the ball back to their offense after that last drive. Momentum has truly changed.
Miller with the 3rd and 4 at his 39.
It's a blitz.
With time to pass. Great catch made by Andre Cooper. Cooper was signed as a free agent before last year after getting cut in the Seattle camp in '97. Comes off the practice squad to join him this season full-time.
Charles Gimry covered him back to the inside. Ball thrown in behind. He didn't get much of a look. His head came around just at the last second. Really had his breakout week last week against Minnesota, catching 4. His high for the year.
High school player of the year in the state of Florida. Goes to Florida State, where he's the 4th all-time receiver. And all season long, the Broncos have been hoping for a 3rd receiver to emerge. He may be the guy.
Had trouble getting open early, but boy, once you figure that out, he's got all the skills.
It's Gary up the middle, and he claws and climbs his way for 2. He's down to the 47, where Orlando Ruff, taking the place of the injured Eric Hill, makes the tackle.
Now, defensively, here's where the defense, led by Junior Seau, they've got to come out now and say, all right, we gave them a first down. We almost had them stop 3 and out. That doesn't mean we can't stop them. They'll force them to punt. They're not in field goal range on the 46-yard line. Force them to punt. We get ourselves the momentum back again. Watch Junior Seau to be in on this play right here, this particular down, 2nd and 8.
2nd and 8 from the 46 of San Diego. Seau on the blitz. Runs outside. They floated over Seau to the fullback, Howard Griffith, who chugs down the sideline, takes it to the Charger 30, picks up a first down. It's a gain of 16. Great play call by Denver. And that will take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. A Romanowski interception for a touchdown. A Harbaugh touchdown pass. It's 20-10. Kevin Harlan, Sam Wyche in San Diego. We start the 4th quarter after a brilliant play call from the sideline. It's a 1st and 10 for the Chargers at the 30 of San Diego. Denver leading it by 10. Handoff to Gary following the lead block of Griffith. And he pummels his way for 5 to the 25-yard line of the Chargers, bringing up 2nd down and 5 to go.
Here's a strategy if you're the San Diego Chargers. They're in field goal range. Jason Elam can kick the ball from here. Keep them to a 3-point score right here, making it a 13-point difference, a 2-score difference, and they're still in this ball game. Just keep them out of the end zone. Junior Seau on that last play, we were talking about what a great call it was on that last first down. They went right at Junior Seau, who was blitzing. Rather than having him chase or try to block it, they just threw it over his head. Great call by Gary Kubiak of the Broncos.
2nd down and 5 from the 25. It's Gary again, the block again by Griffith, but not much room there as he is brought down by Michael Mooring and Lou Bush. So now it'll be 3rd down and short.
All plays are big, Kevin. There's not one play really and truly that's bigger than the other one. This one right here, though, becomes more important at this stage of the game. 3rd down right now. Force them into that field goal, giving yourself the ball back. And with 13, 14 minutes left to go in the ball game, each side should get the ball 2 or 3 times more in the ball game. Plenty of time for San Diego to get back in it if they can hold them right here on 3rd and 3.
From the 22.
The blitz.
Miller, the short drop, the quick go. Great defensive play by Darrell Lewis. A guy who has more interceptions in the AFC than any other player since 1994. He was cut by the Tennessee Titans, gobbled up by the Chargers, and almost gobbled up that pass by Miller.
Playing with a hamstring that's very tender, but remember this play. This one, if San Diego gets back into it, this one is one of the plays that makes it happen. Almost intercepted, but clearly forcing and knocking it down. There was no way there was going to be a completion to Cooper that time. Now, the field goal. Even if he makes this, though, there's only a 2-score difference in the ballgame.
41-yard try by Jason Elam. And today, Elam is hit from 44, 55, and that one from 41 yards away. So the San Diego defense does its job. They're still in there, trailing 23-10. Sanyo is proud to bring you these spectacular live aerial views of today's game from the Sanyo lightship hovering over San Diego's beautiful Qualcomm Stadium.
And Captain Terry Dillard gave us a ride yesterday. Terrific views of San Diego, and today terrific views of the stadium and the game that has suddenly become a competitive one. Denver had control of it up until a few moments ago. This drive, very important, though.
Elam with the kickoff, picked up by Bynum at the 6. He gets a block from Stevens, but it didn't matter because it was brought down on the play by Billy Miller. On the practice squad, weeks 1 through 6, and activated with McCaffrey going down. McCaffrey out today with 2 concussions in the last 2 weeks, didn't even dress. Also has a deep bone bruise on his knee. So now the Chargers, Sam, at their 26, down by 13, but maybe some momentum on their side.
Clearly momentum, even though Denver got 3 of those 7 points back from the scoring drive of the last time San Diego had the ball. Here's an important drive. I don't think they have to score right now, but they've got to move the ball. And if they can score right now, of course, they put the defense back on the field. This is an entirely new football game.
On the 26, 1st and 10 for Harbaugh. Takes it across the middle, caught by Bynum. He's grabbed and brought down by rookie middle linebacker Al Wilson for a gain of 4 on the play.
And as you can see, San Diego is not trying to go after big. They're not in a 2-minute mode. This is not a hurry up, catch up. Make sure that you play this like you play the first quarter of the start of the ball game. Run game, pass game. Mike Reed knows that. Mike Riley. I don't know why I said Reed.
Mike Reed played at Cincinnati.
He's reading what he's seeing out there.
2nd down and 6. Good block by Taylor. Good block by Jackson. Here comes Harbaugh with the throw, and the pass is caught by Freddie Jones across the middle at the 37. Brought down by Romanowski. It's a gain of 7. Harbaugh had a lot of time, but somehow his tight end got free.
This game is turned around. Here it is. There's your tight end, Freddie Jones. The game is turned around when both teams have decided to go to their tight ends. They're big targets. They're good receivers. Both of them have wide receivers that are either injured or thin in numbers. And those tight ends now have come into play. The quarterbacks, as they throw to them and complete it, they get more confidence. They look for them more.
Chargers, who have the 2nd oldest team in the NFL, from the 37, 1st and 10. Here comes the rush by Bowens, and a pass outside is caught by McCrary. Fred McCrary for Mississippi State. He's been with New Orleans and Philadelphia, out last year, and now with the Chargers.
McCrary's going off to the right side. Quick flush out of the pocket. And McCrary, just bat the ball down. You're going to lose 4 yards. Just knock it down. Instead, by catching the ball and going out of bounds, he loses yardage. Hard thing, though, to tell a ball player, to have a ball player have that presence of mind on the field in the middle of your instincts are to make a play, see if you can have something else happen. He'd have been better off, though, with the incompletion of that.
Stevens in the backfield. Terrell Fletcher out with the shoulder, as we told you back in the first half. 2nd down, 14. It's a good block, and here comes the rush by Smith. Harbaugh gets away from him, and Tanabasa, he winds up. He's got Ricks wide open. It's a foot race down the sideline with James. Touchdown! What a play! Harbaugh's 2nd touchdown pass today, and it's a brand new game. The Chargers back in business.
Jim Harbaugh just kept that ball alive. Not only did he keep it alive, the offensive line kept trying to find somebody else to block. The wide receivers didn't give up on the play. Michael Ricks saw that he could get behind the defender and did. And Harbaugh somehow found him about 40 yards down the field and got him a perfect strike. And this is Michael Ricks. Now remember, a lot of things are happening here. Pattern that he originally was supposed to run was just a quick out pattern going against Torrey James. Now the scramble's taking place. He goes up the field. Now it's a foot race. Look at the speed of this man. It's 6 foot 5 inches. And the only question now the officials are having is, did he step out of bounds before he crossed? They're making sure. You see him discussing the issue.
Nate Wayne is the linebacker who caught up with him from behind, but James was the one covering him initially and had to fly to get a chance at him. And look at the evasiveness of Harbaugh as he finally throws to Ricks.
As a former quarterback, I'll tell you the other thing he did well. He found somebody after he got free of the rush. It looks like there has been an appeal made. Dick Hantak will tell us here in just a second.
The receiver was forced out of bounds. However, the force out was legal because the quarterback was out of the pocket. The quarterback was out of the pocket. If it is not an illegal contact, he cannot be the first player to touch the ball when he comes back in bounds. It is an incomplete pass.
Wow.
The ruling he makes is that once that receiver goes out of bounds, he can't be the next person to touch the ball, the first person to touch the ball. Now they're ruling that he's out of bounds right there. And from that point forward, he cannot be the next person to touch the ball. You can see when he got up, his foot was out of bounds. Now he goes up the field, he's in bounds, everything looks good. That's an alert officiating crew to catch something happening that early in the play. Now you can see the officials looking to see if he steps out late, but he was already an illegal receiver downfield. because he was the first person to touch the ball after he had gone out of bounds. You talking about turn around the fortunes of this ball game, or at least this moment in the ball game.
The 5-yard penalty is declined. The result of the play is incomplete, as he was the first player to touch the ball after having been out of bounds.
I'll tell you who made the great call there was the side judge, John Carlson, who is downfield because the head linesman, Mark Bolts, was looking more at the line of scrimmage, and this guy, Don Carlson, was downfield and out of camera view.
The trips a little bit right here. That's Michael Rixner right there.
Look at that. That official is not looking down here. He's looking down there. So the official down this way is the one who was viewing the play and made the call.
And caught it. And it's anybody's call. It doesn't have to be one official having his own turf. If anybody sees him go out of bounds, terrific officiating. Mike Riley appealed that one. He knew they made the right call.
That was John Carlson with a great call. 3rd down and 14 from the 32. A touchdown is wiped out. Stevens in the backfield. Here comes Tanavasa. He's got Harbaugh. And a flag is down at the 28. And Harbaugh is holding on to his arm. Flag is against the Denver Broncos. And you see Harbaugh taking a look at his elbow of his passing arm.
That little pad right there just kind of keeps it warm. That's preventive. There's not been an injury yet.
Defense number 52, Spearing. Number 52 is ejected from the game.
That's rookie David Bowens. And he's gone because of spearing.
He didn't have to hit anybody. He certainly didn't have to hit him that hard. 52 is lined up right here. He's coming out of the middle. We'll have to see him after the scramble. Now he's going to come out of your screen from the right to the left. Bowens, number 52, right there. The play's over.
His head's down.
You lead with the head, you're out of there. And that's pure safety, protection of anybody, not just the quarterback. Quarterback is tackled right now. And then the head is the lead. That's not only going to be a ejection, that's going to be reviewed by the league office and a potential fine as a result of that.
So now he'll be gone. Bowens the rookie, and they'll insert Harold Hasselbeck on the line. Bowens is listed as a linebacker, plays as a down lineman.
Let's go. Break for San Diego, and they just are trying to overcome a bad break just a moment ago when they had a chance for the touchdown.
1st and 10 from the 43 for Harbaugh. Moves up, avoids the rush, flips it off to Stevens, who takes it to midfield, slides into Denver territory before he is jumped on by Romanowski on the gain of 8.
Harbaugh's having a hard time because somebody is getting through. It's not always the same guy, but somebody is getting through on almost every snap. This time it comes from this side. Watch. All of a sudden he drops back to pass and somebody's in his face from somewhere, and he's not sure where it's coming from until he gets back there. He's doing a good job here in the 4th quarter avoiding the rush. The big pass to Michael Ricks earlier, even though it didn't count, certainly gave him a lot of confidence that he can find somebody downfield open.
2nd down along 2 from midfield. He throws a bullet, which is caught at the 44-yard line by Michael Ricks. It's a gain of 6 on the play, and he's tackled on the play by Torrey James.
Torrey James now is just playing head-up technique, not inside or outside. He's just going to cover him, allowing him really to have that underneath kind of a throw. As long as it takes San Diego a long time to move the ball, gaining small chunks, Denver's not going to be too upset.
Chargers have had 2 turnovers today. Here's the 8th play of the drive. 1st and 10 from the Denver 45.
4-man rush.
Harbaugh, good time. Freddie Jones gives a block to Smith to the end zone. Another wide open receiver. Touchdown. Charlie Jones. Charlie Jones missed the first 6 weeks of the season because of a dislocated hip that he suffered in preseason. What a way to come back.
Charlie Jones just gets behind Tyrone Braxton and Ray Crockett. Both of them are looking at each other after this play's over with, saying, you got him, I'll take him. Nobody's got him. Ray Crockett looked back at Tyrone Braxton. I don't know what the coverage was supposed to be. I don't think those two did either.
Extra point is good. Can Captain come back? Harbaugh to Jones. 2 touchdown passes today by Jim Harbaugh. It's 23-17 with the Denver Broncos still leading the San Diego Chargers.
It's amazing what enthusiasm will do. They got a little something going there, and everybody on the San Diego Charger team's playing twice with twice the energy they had earlier in the ballgame.
This place is rocking now as the kickoff by Carney is retrieved by Watson, who is stopped at the 27-yard line. That's where Miller will take over for the Bronco offense.
Charlie Jones lined up right here, is going to go down the middle. Now watch these two safeties. That's Braxton and Crockett. They seem to get mesmerized. They just kind of hold their ground. Nobody goes back to the middle. See them settle and lay out right in the middle here. The key to it, of course, is that Jim Harbaugh was able to keep that ball alive long enough for that kind of a play to develop. But the defense had a breakdown. The receiver never gave up on the play, and Jim Harbaugh found him deep down the field. A lot went on in that play.
Let's see how Chris Miller and the Denver Broncos respond from the 29-yard line. They've got it first down and 10, and there goes a quick whistle. There was 7 seconds on the play clock, so that was not a problem.
Illegal procedure, had movement in the line.
False start. Offense number 66. Illegal snap. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Chris Miller getting his first start today since December of 1995. Spent 3 previous seasons out of football to recover from a series of concussions. You know, Sam, if any place can appreciate his position, it's San Diego. They lost a quarterback with the same problem. Stan Humphries was a quarterback here. He had to leave because of his concussion problem.
Well, you're seeing it more and more around the league. With San Diego, of course, Stan Humphries was very important to their ball club. Almost a very big play. Talk about a big turnaround. Had Greg Jackson been able to hold on to that ball that was batted straight up in the air.
Incomplete pass, and it was tipped by Orlando Ruff, the rookie linebacker.
Remember, once that ball is tipped, all bets are off as far as contact down the field. Everybody can do whatever they want to get to it. You see, going high into the air was Jackson. Just didn't hold on to the football. Had he caught that ball with contact with a defender in play, didn't matter if he landed out of play, it would have been an interception.
Rod Smith sure has been quiet the second half. Second down and 15. Draw play, handoff, goes to Gary, gets by hand, whacked by Shaw and Sayal on a gain of 1.
Here's the difference with San Diego. At the end of that play, there were half a dozen blue jerseys around the football. Earlier in the ball game, it was a 1 or a 2-man tackle job. Watch Junior Seau now. He's the leader of the pack, obviously, on every play. There's the ball bouncing outside. It was a delay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys coming in on the play at the end of that. That's a lot of pursuit. If that ball ever comes loose on a fumble, there are more blue jerseys around to recover it.
San Diego has scored 14 unanswered points to come to within 7. It's 3rd and 14 for Miller from the 25, and he falls down. That'll be a sack by John Perella, the 5th of the day by the San Diego defense. They hold Denver, and the Broncos have got a punt with a little over 8 minutes to play in the game.
The quarterback, as Miller steps back, the guard, the left guard, Schlereth, steps on his foot. He goes immediately down. He just tries to backpedal out of there as he steps back. Actually, he's not. I thought he tripped him up by the guard. He just lost his footing and fell straight back. Best thing to do if it happens is what he did. Just hold on to the ball, take your loss. San Diego's recovered momentum.
Second 3 and out by Denver. The punt by Ruin. Down he goes. Fair caught. Bobbled. It's loose. And Denver falls on the ball at the 37-yard line.
San Diego just lost the momentum.
And lost the ball for the 3rd time today. Detron Smith, a reserve fullback, covering it up.
The fair catch just didn't close on it enough. Normally a sure-handed receiver, Chris Penn. Not a great return guy afterwards necessarily, but a sure-handed catcher of the punt. Now it's the defense. They just got to go back out from the San Diego standpoint, try to regain the momentum that they gave their offense, or tried to give it to them. From Denver's standpoint now, it is milk the clock. hold on to the football. There's going to be some stripping done. Defenses are going to try to stand them up now and strip the ball loose with the second and third tackler.
Well, defense is the word in San Diego. They come in with one of the best in the NFL today, and a handoff to Gary, who breaks a couple tackles and is swarmed under by Darrell Lewis. No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10 coming up, and coaches like Steve Mariucci have traded in their VCRs for computers. See the convergence of coaches and computers only on NFL.com.
I can remember when I was coaching, there were so many people coming to us, all the coaching staff, saying that's the next wave, and here it is. CBS.com fill you in on where they are today. It's going so fast.
Baltimore coach Brian Billick has over 5,200 plays with diagrams on his computers for his offense.
His problem is getting one of those 5,200 to work.
Denver burns the first of their 3 timeouts. Chargers have scored 14 unanswered points, but they've turned over 3 times, and Sam, those 3 turnovers have occurred in their own territory.
They're never good, but in your own territory, they're even worse.
2nd down, 14. Denver at the San Diego 42. Blitz is on. Here comes Seau. There goes Miller, chased also by Mooring, and a pass thrown away. Running for his life. Incomplete pass.
2 good plays. Defensively, the pass rush. Offensively, throwing the ball away. Watch Junior Seau. Now watch the hustle. He's coming on the backside. First, he beats number 70, Trey Teague, who's replacing Tony Jones. And then full hustle. But look what he brought with him, the rest of the team. I keep saying that he's the guy making the difference. The other guys weren't hustling before they were. They hustle even more, though, because of the way to try to keep up with Junior Seau's hustle.
Sam, it's going to be 3rd down, 14 yards to go, and San Diego has called a timeout in what might be the most important play of the game. Timeout. Kevin Harlan, Sam White, San Diego, 6.5 to play in the game. The Denver Broncos have watched the Chargers score 14 unanswered points, and now maybe the play of the game. 3rd down, 14 inside the 42.
And during that timeout, every one of the San Diego Charger defensive players were on the sideline talking to the coach. Here it is.
Miller pump fakes, one to go deep. The pocket crumbles. He's being chased by Ray Lee Johnson. The throw caught, but short of the 1st down. Perhaps a flag has gone down at the 27. The spot was extremely generous. And as it stands now, it looks like he's got the 1st down by maybe a yard. And the penalty was on San Diego.
Well, it'd be an automatic 1st down if it's on San Diego's defense.
Defense, number 26. Penalty is declined. Result of the play is a 1st down.
It is a 1st down, and Darrell Lewis picked up the penalty.
Going against Terrence Shaw now. It was trying to run a down or an up pattern, a go pattern, a fly pattern. Nothing there. He sees the scramble, comes back down the sideline. Chris Miller realizes that they completed a big 1st down. He didn't know anything about the penalty on the other side. He just knew he completed a good pass.
A 15-yard gain on 3rd and 14 from the 27. The handoff to Gary. Massive hole. Spinning free and finally plucked down by Greg Jackson. Now the momentum is falling back in the way of the Denver Broncos.
Linebackers have to make this play right here. Watch them. They're going to flow across the line. And then the cutback. The linebackers in such hot pursuit, all geared up. They overflow it. Good cutback by Landis Gary. And then not a 1st down, but big yardage. They're clearly in 1st down or in field goal range now, so you never want to turn the ball over. Right now is possession of the ball. Eat the clock up and just turn away yards as best you can.
2nd down and 1. It's Gary again. Through the middle, an easy 1st down, knifing his way, slicing his way for the 1st down, tackled by Ruff. For those of you expecting to see 60 minutes who are watching the NFL on CBS in the game between the Denver Broncos and the San Diego Chargers, Broncos, the defending Super Bowl champions, lead San Diego 23-17. 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast and in the Mountain Time Zone.
I'd be surprised to see the ball put in the air right now. Just use the clock. 3 points makes this a 2-score difference. 6-point difference now. Get it to 9. San Diego would have to score twice.
1st and 10 from the 11. Gary breaking one tackle and slithering his way to the 6. Tackle made by Shaw. It's a gain of 5. We welcome you to Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego with Sam Weich, Kevin Harlan. Mike Shanahan has seen the Chargers score 14 unanswered points, but a big 3rd and 14 play has given them the 2nd down and 5 at the 6 of the Chargers, as San Diego has just burned their first timeout. A huge day for Olandis Gary, the kid taking the place of the injured Terrell Davis. Gary has rushed for 99 yards. The San Diego defense has not allowed a 100-yard rusher in 26 games, which is incredible. Tonight on 60 Minutes, he's all of 13 years old and he's on trial for murder. He's also on 60 Minutes. And with 1/4 of the doctors in the U.S. now trained in foreign countries, it's more than likely that before the doctor can ask, where does it hurt, the patient will ask, where are you from? All tonight on 60 Minutes.
And I'm sure a coach has walked up to Olandis Gary or sent word in, protect the football, get your other arm on it. We're going to hand you the ball. Don't be fighting for that extra yard and get the ball stripped loose. All we need is possession and the clock running right now.
2nd down and 5. Gary with the ball. A seductive move, but now being chased and brought down by Michael Dumas and Ray Lee Johnson and John Perella. Nowhere to run and nowhere to hide for the rookie from Georgia, a 4th-round pick by Shanahan and the Broncos.
Again, the most important thing is possession, contain, hold on to that football. You don't want to be struggling trying to make a big play at this point, getting the ball away from your body and having somebody come up and strip it loose. Change the whole complexion. 3 points right here for the Denver Broncos makes it a 2-score difference, 9 points.
Romanowski intercepted a ball for a touchdown back in the first half. Jim Harbaugh of San Diego has thrown 2 touchdown passes. Jason Elam, the Denver kicker, has booted 3 field goals, including a 55-yarder. The Chargers have turned it over 3 times, and they have scored 14 unanswered points on Denver today. Friday on CBS, it's the new drama critics call mesmerizing and addictive. Catch it all new now and again and see what all the talk is about. This Friday on CBS.
Saw during the timeout, Mike Shanahan talking to Chris Miller, sending the word in that I am guessing here, but my suggestion to them is that they keep the ball on the ground right here and make that clock continue to tick. They're in field goal range easily.
3rd down and 9. Great gallop by Gary, but he gets back to the 5-yard line, and that is all. When it looked like that line may spring him free, and now they will try for 3, and the San Diego Charger defense holds the Broncos to just that try.
Now, this is a draw play. The quarterback's going to come back. And watch the lineman kind of set up. They want the defense to come up the field a little bit, and then they just take them out of the way. Junior Seau in the blitz one more time on that particular play. And just hold on to the football, Olandis Gary. Get what you can. If you score, great. But if you don't, we'll take this 3 points and put our defense on the field again. Coach Riley checking with Dick Hentek, the referee, about the appeal. I don't know if he's got one right now, but I guess just in case. Remember, the appeal comes from the sideline up until you get to 2 minutes remaining in the game. It's taken over by the referee or the officials in the booth. Review officials. Rather important field goal right here in terms of strategy. They'll be coming after this one like it's an extra point.
24-yard try by Elam, the hold by Ruin. The snap was not all that clean, but the kick is. And Denver comes up with an incredibly important 3 points to lead it 26-17, because now the Broncos have got to watch San Diego score at least twice.
And they do that, of course, with no timeouts as well.
All around the National Football League today, every stadium, every game began with 15 seconds of silence in memory of the great Walter Payton, who passed away this Monday at his home outside of Chicago. The NFL's all-time leading ground gainer.
You know, I said this earlier, but as you watch him and you hear so many things said about him, so many positive things, how much he meant to so many people, the legacy he leaves is maybe for us to reflect on how much we mean to other people. What are we doing in our lives as he did in his life that are important, that are meaningful to others? And Walter Payton, what a great example, not just of an on-the-field second-effort player, but an off-the-field contributor as well, back to his community and his teammates and his family and friends, and he'll be missed.
60 minutes is next, except on the West Coast, is Jason Elam, who has a 55-yard field goal. In addition to his 3 others today. 4 all told for Elam, a big day for him and Denver as they look to stop a 2-game losing skid. San Diego looking to stop a 2-game losing streak as well. Tremaine Stevens bobbling it at the 7, picks it up on a bounce at the 11, and down at the 15-yard line. Something San Diego did not need with 4:07 to play.
Well, that's where special teams makes their biggest contribution in a ball game, is a situation like this, giving your offense field position, shortening the field, not just because you don't want to be backed up, but because you want to get into the end zone in a hurry here. You've got no timeouts left. You've got to score twice, so you've got to score in a hurry on this down. This is a 2-minute situation. They won't go into the huddle, I don't think. And then, of course, you've got to come back and either onside kick or you've got to hold your opponent 3 snaps and get them out of there. It's your only chance to win at this point for San Diego.
Stevens in the backfield, 4 wide receivers deployed from the 15. It's 1st and 10. Harbaugh's thrown 2 touchdowns today. Good time and a good block by Vaughn Parker. He's being chased by Smith. Goes downfield. The receiver slipped. That was 6'5" Michael Ricks. Incomplete pass, coverage by safety Tyrone Braxton.
Michael Ricks continues to argue with the official. The problem with that argument is the 40-second clock has already started and it's ticking down for the next play. They only have 40 seconds to get it back up. Up the field, let's see if Braxton makes contact with Ricks right here. They're just kind of shuffling with each other, trying to gain position. I don't think they're going to call that one very often. 40-second clock down now to 12 seconds.
So the Chargers out of timeout. 2nd down and 10 from the 15. Pittsburgh beating San Francisco. Another scores. Here comes Tanavasa. The throw by Harbaugh. Incomplete. Ma'a Tanavasa drilled Harbaugh and foiled the pass.
And the most common question to ask is, why do defenses line up in a soft defense in a 2-minute situation? Why don't they rush the passer? Well, if they did, this would be the result much of the time. They bring one more guy than the offense has blocking, because the offense tries to get as many players out as they can. That would be a total of 5 receivers. One guy's throwing the ball, that's 6. That only leaves 5 blockers. If you bring 6 rushers, somebody's coming free.
3 receivers on 3rd and 10 for Harbaugh at his own 15. Rolling out of the pocket, gets away from Neil Smith, hit by Tanavasa and brought down at the 12. The 2nd sack today by the Broncos. And Ma'a Tanavasa, who led the team last year in sacks, comes up with his 1st sack of the season.
All right, here's Neil Smith's going to make the first one. Tanavasa's coming from this side over here. But as Harbaugh drops back to pass, watch Smith is going to break. Now he flushes him right back to Ma'a Tanavasa. There he comes. And there's the sack. The offense started to come off the field on 4th down and 14. They can't do it. Coach Riley said, get back out there. We've got to make a 1st down. We don't have time to punt and get the ball back to Denver at this point in the game.
And the Chargers with no timeouts. It's 4th and 13. Late time for Harbaugh. Going to a second receive. Ball, there's a loose ball and a fumble. And it's eventually picked up by Tremaine Stevens. Tanavasa knocked it away, and on downs, the Broncos get it back at the San Diego 12. And that stops the 2-game losing streak for Denver. And for the Chargers, they drop to 4 and 4.
Ma'a Tanavasa's had a pretty good series of plays right here. Quarterback scramble, nothing down the field. That's the defensive coverage. First hit, of course, is made by Trevor Price. Here's Tanavasa making the tackle after the recovery of the fumble. And now Denver's job, eat the clock up the last 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Ma'a Tanavasa, a factor on that one. Boy, when you are in a 2-minute defense and you're just rushing 4 people and somebody's coming free, it reflects a weakness in your protection scheme. Not in your scheme, but in your protection. Your blockers have got to be able to hold 4 people out. Now, Denver did bring 6 people on 1 snap for the sack. The other time, though, they were just bringing 4.
First down and goal from the 9. Hand off to Gary, who slips his way to the 6.
Defensively, San Diego has to try to strip the ball loose. They've got to get a turnover. They can't just hold Denver to no first downs and give them another field goal.
102 yards today for Orlandis Gary. The first time the San Diego defense has allowed a 100-yard rusher in 27 games. The last guy to do it back in 1997, Terrell Davis, the Denver Broncos.
And substituting for Terrell today is Orlandis Gary.
Second down goal, and Gary is sideswiped and brought down after a gain of 1 near the 5.
This is what the AFC West is going to look like after this one is wrapped up. Seattle, Kansas City. San Diego will go to 4-4. Denver 3-6.
Seattle will go to 6-2 because they are beating and crushing Cincinnati right now.
And San Diego still, as you look at it, they're not out of it. They are definitely in a skid right now, but they're not out of it. And when you've lost 3 in a row, you feel like there is no daylight anywhere, but there is.
We've reached the 2-minute warning in San Diego with the Broncos. Broncos got things started today with the Bill Romanowski interception for a touchdown, 18 yards. Elam has kicked 4 field goals, including 1 from 55 yards away. San Diego's turned it over today 3 times. Hand off to Gary, slicing into the end zone, touchdown.
San Diego, of course, playing a gambling defense. You're vulnerable if the offensive play comes to the wrong side from your standpoint defensively. Solid running. Orlandis Gary really developing into a fine running back and having to do it under extreme circumstances because there's no easing himself into this situation. Look at Junior Seau, everyone coming hard up the field, but Orlandis Gary running just as hard the other way. And now San Diego's got to be saying, is the jar half full or is the jar half empty, or is the glass jar broken? What is it?
Maybe broken.
It may be broken. They're only 4-4 though. There are a lot of teams this league.
Executive producers of the NFL on CBS, Sean McManus and Terry Eworth. The coordinating director of the NFL on CBS, Larry Cavallina. Today's game produced by Bob Dekas. Today's game directed by Dick Klein. The senior producer of the NFL Today is Eric Mann. The NFL Today directed by Bob Matina. The associate director for today's game, Ken Mack. Special thanks too to broadcast associates Jeff St. Armand and Jen Goldschmidt, and our great statistician today, Pat McGrath. Spotter was Jan Chapman Jr. Great job, gentlemen. Thank you. Kenny Bonner running it up to the 32-yard line. Chargers have no timeouts with 1:50 to play and trailing 33-17.
We look around the league, the AFC East standings. Miami, New England, Indianapolis. Indianapolis, here's the team right here. Watch out. Those guys get better and better every week.
What a great division.
Everyone. New York Jets, of course, were the ones that were supposed to walk away with that. The injury to Vinny Testaverde and others affected that one. Buffalo still, everybody playing well in that division. Indianapolis, though, probably coming the greatest distance from a year ago. With a lot of young talent.
Buffalo's win today in Washington surprised me.
Washington's playing so well, too.
Harbaugh's throw caught by Charlie Jones. Wide receiver out of Fresno State. Led him in yards receiving a season ago. Picks up 9, and again, San Diego cannot stop the clock with the timeout. They have none left.
They really can't, get back in this ballgame throwing passes like that. They've got to take chances and go down the field. Otherwise, these are what are called stat builders.
2nd and 1. There goes the flag, and there's the pass to Ricks, who gets out of bounds after acquiring the first down at the 46-yard line. Dale Carter with the tackle, but all for naught because holding is the call by Dick Hantek's crew on the Chargers.
The only reason you have holding at this stage of the game is that Denver is still playing hard. They're coming up the field full speed.
Holding. Offense number 70. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. 2nd down.
Vaughn Parker, early pick out of UCLA 6 years ago.
He came into this game third in the NFL with holding penalties. He had 3. That was third in the league.
Pittsburgh's going to go to 5-3, Sam, and San Francisco will lose a second consecutive game at home after winning 18 in a row under Mariucci at home. Unbelievable. Second down 11 from the 31.
3-man rush, 2-man rush.
Still has time, throws outside, caught by Tremaine Stevens, breaking tackles, running into his own blocker, then belts it out of bounds by free safety Eric Brown. Gain of 22, stopping the clock at 1:10.
The good thing that's happening for San Diego right now is they don't look like they've conceded anything. They're still playing hard, making big runs. Looking around the league, some more AFC Central standings. Jacksonville, the team that probably has been thought of as the favorite in the AFC to go all the way. Tennessee playing as strong after the big win a week ago against the undefeated Rams.
Denver 47, San Diego 1st and 10. Great time for Harbaugh. Goes underneath and throws it to Freddie Jones, who picks up about 7. And still on his feet. And down to the 33-yard line with the first down, picking up 15. Looked like he was down, and he got back up, vaulting ahead.
And stopping the clock as well. He was just laying on top of the tackler. His knee or any other part of his body had not touched the ground. Whistle did not blow. Just keep driving. Ball is going to be thrown short. Here he is right here. He's going to block and then release. He's an alternate receiver. He's a secondary guy. Now right here, here's the hit. Knees do not touch, we say.
Well, they need at least 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
2-man rush.
First down for Harbaugh. Moving up, throwing a pass, incomplete, aiming for Charlie Jones, incomplete.
National Football Conference, the East, Washington, Giants, Dallas, all of them in it. Arizona, after last year's big season, not been able to put it together. Injuries a factor again.
Dallas plays at Minnesota tomorrow night as the sun sets in the west here in beautiful San Diego. Setting on the San Diego Chargers. Second down and 10 from the 31.
Denver showing blitz. Here they come. They're going to bring 6.
Great sack by Nate Wayne, the first of his career. He played in NFL Europe, inactive all of last season. That's the 4th sack of Harbaugh today. He was sacked 4 times last week in Kansas City. And a career first for Nate Wayne, the first sack of his young career. Third down and 20 from the 41.
Denver been bringing 2-3 players. That time they brought 6.
Harbaugh across the middle with the little pass, caught by the twirling Tremaine Stevens, and he goes to the 32-yard line. Gain of 9, tackle made by Tyrone Braxton.
These make the statistics look good, but they're not going to get you back in the ball game. Of course, they were out of it before this drive started. This just shows that they're fighting. They're not going to give in.
4th and 11. Final play of the game. Harbaugh winds up to the end zone and intercepted by Torrey James. 4th San Diego turnover. The game is over. The Chargers have lost their 3rd consecutive game. And the Denver Broncos and coach Mike Shanahan have stopped their 2-game losing streak and now have won 3 of their last 5. Jim Nantz is next.
Super Bowl titles in the NFL. Mike Shanahan.